was Raiken.
Let me know once you all have the stream up.
Yep.
Ooh.
So, now I'll ask again. How is everybody today?
Not bad.
I'm alive.
Been better, been worse.
A bad game.
I'm sick again.
Ooh, fun.
Good job.
We've begun.
Yeah,
Alright. Now then. Last week, you guys got to search through the room you see before you, and find many, many magic and mechanical and magitech items, wonders of a bygone age, creations and collections of the rock gnomes of Garland. And you got to test out some of them. Raiken and Vendar were having a good time blasting holes in the walls with their newfound boomsticks. And Leah was very upset about it, that you guys were making so much noise.
Got to blast a hole.
It's not my fault you never figured out how to shoot yours.
So I'm adequately naming last week's episode, it's not evil, it's technology.
Exactly.
Because that was my favorite line from that episode.
I think it should be called It's Not Evil, I Want It.
I mean, that's really the realistic translation, but
Yeah.
what was said was more funny. Anyway, I'll move this over so that there's nothing blocking here. So first thing I want to touch on, I just want to make sure that I state it for the record. Last week I said that remove curse would work on both cursed and not cursed items. Upon reviewing the rules, talking about it with players, and thinking it over, that was a very rash decision. And I am not going to be enforcing that one. We're going to be using the original rules, and I want to apologize for that. That was not fair of me, and I don't want you to think that that's how things are going to run. The reality is that there was a way I wanted part of this to play out, and it wasn't working out that way for me, and I overreacted. So I just want to let you know, especially Derek, I'm sorry. Now then. So.
Do you have Netflix open?
I don't think so. But I have other things I can close. Close this. No, I don't.
Because the cutting, how we usually do when you have Netflix open. That's why I asked.
Alright, well, let me try closing a few things, but no, I don't have Netflix open. I almost closed Discord. Now, the only things I have open right now are Discord, the Excels, and OBS. And then Steam's always running in the background, but let's double check.
Awesome.
Let's make sure Steam isn't trying to run an update on me.
Silly Steam.
No. I thought it was, but it's not. Yeah, it's not. It had started one at some point. I don't know when. I can see a progress bar, but it's definitely paused right now. So,
Okay.
am I coming through, or is it still breaking up? What's going on?
Yeah,
No,
but not
it's
just a little.
typical for me. You
What
sound normal.
does typical mean? No breaking up, a little breaking up. What does that mean?
Sometimes at the end of words.
Okay.
But
That could just be because I bring the volume trigger for the microphone for Discord up pretty close to my normal speaking volume, so that it keeps out any background noise as best I can. So that might be why you lose the ends of words on statements, because my voice might drop at the end of my words.
Well, it sounds good now.
Okay. If it's good, then we're good. Good is good. Good, 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 good. Alright,
So yeah, so if I understood you correctly though about what it said, I do know after removing curse
that cursed items will be unattuned, regular items will not. So if an item becomes unattuned from remove curse, then it must have been cursed.
Gotcha. Then you know that the sword is in fact cursed.
Yes.
Dun, dun.
Sorry, Malachi. Or Yukikase. If you're considered in character. Sorry, Yukikase.
So at the end of last session, Laramendus was finishing up identifying the items, and I believe the last one that he was identifying, and correct me if I'm wrong, was that Vendar had acceded to let him identify the Cloak of Shadows while he was wearing it.
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, I think I gave you the rundown on that, but I'll give you the refresher. It basically makes it so anybody who's fighting him specifically is blind fighting. He has advantage on attacks because he's hidden in the cloud, and enemies that try to attack him have disadvantage to attack him.
I love this so much.
It basically gives you the invisible.
It basically makes you invisible, but the thing is that even if you roll to hide, the thing is that the cloak is always generating smoke wherever you are, so they can always pick the right square, basically.
Yeah.
So they're only suffering the disadvantage. That's one drawback to it. I will say, you know, over, like, invisibility, where they have no... If you roll hide and roll well, then they have no way of knowing which square you're on, and they have to guess at a square. So this does give you away a little bit like that, but it means that you don't actually have to roll hide, because you can't gain any new benefits from hiding that you don't already have. So you don't have to waste your cunning action on that. You can use it for other things.
Dash around all the time.
You can dash around all the time. I will say now that it is fully attuned, you notice that more than just being a wreath of shadowy smoke around him, it is acting somewhat like a bonfire in that the thick black smoke is rising up above him in a column. He is completely enshrouded by it, and it dances around him, but it also seems to rise above him, and you can actually see it hitting and then pooling across the ceiling slowly.
So does that mean I'm gonna be like a beacon as I walk through the
Possibly. But
train?
Yes, you are now officially a
Big
giant smoke
fucking
signal.
Smoke beacon.
as for identify, that is what it tells you. That he basically has invisibility, except that you know exactly where he is.
So we're starting off where we left off, which was everyone was looking at you guys and worried about the sword.
Yes.
And
I believe
the
those
cloak
were
was
the
being
last.
identified.
I believe
Worried
those were the
about
last
the thunder
things.
guns.
So, guys, like all seriousness here, you did a thing, undid the sword thing, and that means I'm not affected by that. I really like swords. This is really cool. Can I use it for a while? Like, seriously?
No, it's cursed.
But we need power. We need the power to beat the list. So I'm using
First
it.
power.
We need to understand what the curse is.
Yeah,
If it's the wrong kind of curse, then it
If the-
can be much worse to use against the Lich than the benefits of the magic that the sword is granting.
It could
Fuck.
kill you.
You're gonna kill us.
But there's, I left my home and always wanted to find a legendary sword or something really cool.
And you're willing to run the risk of slaughtering everything around you, including yourself, to hold it for an hour.
That just sounds foolish and selfish.
Wait, Sorry.
Any way to identify what the curse is?
No, the only person who can know what a curse is somebody who is attuned to it at the time. They become aware of the other effects of the curse. But, as you've seen, some curses prevent you from wanting to remove a cursed item or telling other people about the curse. So, it can be unclear what kind of a curse it is, until somebody attunes it. But, of course, you also can't identify a curse with a spell, so you can't know that something's cursed until you attune it.
So the only way for us to be able to know what the curse is would be for someone to attune
Well, actually, for us talking right now, only the wizards would know any of this information, so they'll have to...
Yeah.
What do you mean, would know what information?
How, like, more about curses and uncursed and how to probably see that kind of stuff.
I mean,
so I don't think I have
I've
that
told
knowledge.
people that identify does not identify a curse.
Yes, that was a specific
And
portion
like
of
that-
last week's conversation.
There is one thing that might work, which is if I were to cast legend lore on it. Being here and as separated as it was, it probably has quite a history, and the spell would reveal that, and in so doing might hint at what the curse is.
I like that idea.
Sounds like a good idea.
It is a 5th level spell.
It is an interesting idea.
It seems like we should keep the sword, but probably not risk using it right now.
No, it sounds like we should leave the sword.
No, we're not leaving the sword.
Magic? What do you think we are?
I believe that it would be worth keeping with us to cast legend lore on it
Yes.
and see what comes of that.
Not to mention just so it
Should
doesn't
the
fall in the hands
information-
of anybody.
We should go and put it back in the cart.
Why are you guys always so obsessed with bringing with us stuff that is clearly bad?
Well, we don't want anybody else to get their hands on it, and then bad stuff happens with them. We might as well keep it and protect it.
Like no one has
Who
ever
uses
stolen from
it?
us before.
We're good people, we use it for good things.
Depending on the curse, it might be more beneficial to us in this encounter with the Lich. And if it is not, it is unsafe and should be taken to a safe place.
Which this will not be once we leave.
This is not now.
It's very much not now.
A safe place.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's completely safe here. There's not a single
Anthony's
threat
been
in
living
sight.
here for years.
But we're not going back to the cart right now. We're gonna continue onwards, so I should carry it with me.
No,
No,
we
We should
shouldn't.
most definitely not.
You mean, weren't we headed back to the cart for the rest? Weren't we going to take the long rest after we
We
looted?
still
We're
have
not
much
letting
time
him
to
carry it.
You had to bring it back into the cart if you are to keep it, otherwise whoever holds it will attune to it in an hour.
That's why we could put it in the bag of holding, a place where nothing will be able to attune to it.
That's true.
And we should go put it in the cart. That way, anyway.
Yeah, just put it in the bag.
I will say something about the legend lore idea is that since it is a 5th level spell and I can only cast one of those in a single day, it will
No
be,
teleportation circle.
be disruptive to casting Teleportation Circle. Now, we could cast Teleportation Circle and make the changeover today, and then tomorrow, once we've had time to rest, I could also cast Legend Lore.
Do that. If you
Which, since we will presumably be dealing with things one way or another tomorrow, means that I will be out my most powerful spell.
How does teleportation circle
could, can you
work?
use with that 5th level spell?
Everything.
Jebel asked, how does teleportation circle work?
one inscribes the symbols for a circle that is known to them, and once the ritual is complete, for about 6 seconds, a portal is open that someone can move through freely. So we would need to, during that time, have someone step through, give the box and gold to Nalia, take the gems that she might be finding, and step back.
Why don't you give her the sword as well?
Something troubles me, Scholar.
No.
No, that's actually
Yes.
not.
As long as we do not understand the nature of the curse, it remains a secret.
If
That
is true.
I agree with Ash.
here's one other thing we could do. If we absolutely need to find out what this curse is, have someone with no martial skill, no strength, attune it, so that if it turns them against the rest of us, they're considerably less of a danger.
But what if
Well,
it kills them?
It also may be unattunable by... Actually, that identify will tell me what the requirements for attuning it are. Are there any requirements for attuning it?
But the
It'd be
thing
proficiency with a longsword.
I will convey that.
So, then you.
Oh, I cannot. I have 3 attuned items, and
I do not
none
wish
of
to
them
be
are
unattuned,
safe to
Scholar.
unattune.
But guys, I already attuned to it once, and if it was going to turn me against you, would have done it already. And now that I'm back to my senses, if
We
it
could always
did change
take
it, I would have
precautions,
realized
so-
that.
You acted quite strange, Yukikaze.
Out of
Oh no,
character,
sorry. That was just me being a geek about swords.
Insight.
I like swords a lot.
Roll persuasion.
Frickin' stupid slime.
Actually,
hurt
roll,
Kimaru.
since he's rolling insight actively against you, roll deception.
Deception? Oh, wait, me? Roll?
Yeah, you roll
Yes,
deception.
you, because I don't believe you.
Okay, I did my roll. I have no pluses.
Okay. Send it to me.
Oh, wait. Here, should I do this?
Imagine.
Sent it.
Okay. I have it. Roll insight and send it to me.
Already
I have
sent
to
it.
start my laptop.
Alright. He seems like a moron, but an honest moron.
Yep, sounds like Yukikaze.
Hey!
I mean, we could take precautions, right? We already know that the remove curse spell will unattune him from it. And that should mean he remember whatever the attune was, and if it was something that would make him not want to tell us, then he would be free from it, right? Once we unattune him with remove curse, and he would still be able to tell us.
That is potentially true.
That requires me to save a spell slot, though.
Do you get yours back more quickly than anyone else here?
Short
Or
rest.
Honestly, though, you could just, like, obliterate me. You got, like, mages there.
Yeah, he's not
guess
wrong.
We don't want to have to do that.
We take it back to the cart.
But see,
and we figure
I
out
love
there.
the idea of having this cool sword, so I'm willing to take the risk.
Yeah, but we're not.
Aw.
I think we should take precautions, let him attune it, and then have Leah unattune it, have Leah remove the curse from him. And then he can tell us what it is, and if he still can't tell us what the curse is, then we work out from there.
I agree with
Consider the fact
Vendar,
that He
Scholar.
might want the sword. He might want the sword so much that he's willing to lie to us, even when he knows what it will do.
That's
No.
also a concern.
I'm a follower of Bahamut. Bahamut would very much frown upon that. I would not.
Raiken, do you still have a spell slot capable of casting Circle of Truth.
You guys are being so difficult with it. Why don't we do it to where...
I believe we are being properly paranoid.
I don't have it.
Well, here, no.
Too,
I got
so
an idea. I got an idea. I got an idea.
I don't have it prepared, so I can't use Circle of Truth.
I think someone else will enjoy this idea too. We go back to the cart. We meet the nice Kubrail. We have Kubrail sit on top of me so I can't move, and I can cuddle with a fluffy kitty while I'm attuned to this thing. And then if something happens horrible, you have me already pinned down.
What does that have to do with you potentially lying about the effects of the curse?
Yeah.
Well, because if you uncurse it and I'm back to my senses, I should be able to tell you, right?
That depends on the curse.
Well, depends. Okay. Well, if I say there, but here's how you figure that out: is if I say there's no curse, then you know that it has a hidden curse.
If I were to
know
be
it has a
developing a curse that I didn't want people to know about, if they were not cursed by it, I would have them think the curse did something else.
Fair point.
That's what I was trying to say. Sorry, because I want to trust you, but you really want this thing.
Well, no, it's not. Well, well, I'd be this way if we found the Sword of Bahamut, honestly.
And that I
wish I
trust
had
you
that.
with.
That I really want too. That would be freaking sweet to have.
Yes, but your desire might cloud your senses.
I can't completely disagree with that. But we're fighting something that's stupid evil, you know? Finding out our battle potential is a big
worth
deal.
the risk to try to figure out what it is, and then so we should let him attune it, and then use remove curse to unattune it. And if he still can't tell us, then we can work it out from there. If he still can't tell us, then we can avoid using the sword and try to do something else.
My concern is that he will tell us and it will be wrong.
I still have a vial of truth serum we could use.
You do?
You have a what?
I have a
From
vial of
when?
truth serum. I have had a vial of truth serum since before I even met you, Mendes.
I
What's the expiration
wish
date
that I
on
could
that?
be surprised. Does it work?
Yes, I had two, and I've used one, and it worked when I used it, so I don't know why it wouldn't work.
How do you know that it worked?
The information we got was right. Interrogation.
Out of character, what did I miss since I restarted my laptop? Twice.
A lot.
When did you
Twice.
start?
Well, two vials of truth serum.
Yeah.
Actually.
Give me a moment to summarize. Yukikaze wants to keep the sword, despite knowing that it's cursed. No one else wants him to keep it because curse equals bad. Nobody knows what the curse exactly does, and Ash has suggested allowing him to attune it to learn what the curse does, because that's the only way to know, and thereby it will stop being a secret. That's why Ash wants it done, because he doesn't like secrets. Everybody else doesn't trust it. They think that Yukikaze is going to lie about it, and now Vendor just revealed that he has a truth serum that he got earlier in the game.
So you guys also believe that I am weak enough willed that I can't beat this thing back if it is?
No, I definitely think that, but we're not sure if you want to tell us the truth, if you just really want the sword more.
We all got trust issues, man.
Yeah, what about my idea?
What was your idea?
To send it to Narmendis' friend?
Yeah, actually,
Which-
I don't think that's too bad of an idea, and Nalia is extremely good when it comes to magic weapons.
The problem with that is just that if the curse is not enough of a hindrance that we should avoid using it here, we will not be able to.
Yes.
But isn't she sending stuff back?
She won't
In
be able to
that
do
same
that.
time, we can't.
If we
The
wanted to do
transfer
another
has to be done at
splitting, it would-
once.
Yeah. If we
Oh.
wanted to do another one, it would take another 5th level spell and then another day of waiting.
Unless she could open up that thing.
She can't. She don't have the teleportation like
There isn't a circle that
thingamajig.
I know of here.
So unless we find a circle here, that's not an option.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not up on that type of magic.
To use it, you have to go to a fixed point.
You should absolutely just spend the next 10 days here creating a circle.
Doesn't it? Does it only take 10?
I thought it was a year.
I thought it was like a year or a month or something. Yeah, something ridiculous.
I don't think.
Actually, I don't think there are rules for.
No, there are definitely rules for creating a permanent circle.
Yeah, it's recasting the spell in the same place multiple times consecutively. Like,
Right,
you know,
every
Right,
day
which
for a
makes
certain
a
number of
permanent
days.
link between the one to the one that you're casting it at.
No.
No. That makes it a permanent circle that anyone can go to, and it doesn't disappear. That's how they create the ones in the city, if I don't miss my understanding.
Yeah. It takes a year.
It's a year? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a year.
So you should spend a year here and create a permanent circle.
But we don't have the
So-
resources?
Yeah, there's a couple problems with that.
That's a lie. You have a bag of infinite food.
No, we don't have the
No,
components.
I don't have the chalk.
A year worth of chalk.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, where would one go to find chalk in the desert?
Pick a
Actually,
direction.
that's something.
Pick a
that's
direction and
something
walk
I
that
would
way.
know.
Chalk is usually generates underwater, don't it?
I think it's a swamp thing.
This is swamp thing.
I don't.
No,
So a permanent teleportation circle costs a little over 18,000 gold.
It's a lot of gold. It's too bad. You only have 10,000. Plus all that platinum. Has anyone actually done a tally on how much gold you have?
I only keep track of what I have.
I have 52,000 gold worth of purple worm poison on me.
I can't use that to cast teleportation circle.
Break it down into a usable material, or go to a bunch of cities and sell it to people there. I'm sure they'll have great use for purple worm poison.
Yeah.
Go back to the Assassin's Guild so they can use it against you next time.
So,
And it's
regardless of what we're going to do about this curse, I don't think we want to do it here. So we should put it someplace where it's not going to be a problem for now, and take the next step that we're doing right now.
Then let's put it in
the
a
next
bag of
step
holding.
going back to the cart and taking a long rest.
We can't. It's like mechanically, it's not been enough time yet.
You have to wait. I believe the math came out to 7 hours. We'll call it 6 because of all the stuff that's been going on. Actually, how many items did you identify? At 10 minutes per.
Yeah,
It
we
was
have
like
been there for a
100
while.
minutes, wasn't it?
For
So
hours.
5-ish
Yeah.
hours you need to kill.
So we still got like 5 hours that we gotta wait. I thought we were going to.
One quick question, because I don't remember from last week. Have we acquired the grenades, or are those still sitting on the shelf?
Oh, last I checked, you just had the blue one.
Well, before we leave the room, I'm definitely going to take the rest of the grenades.
Okay.
And
Wait, I remember the information of that previous cursed weapon we had in our group, right?
Actually, that's what I was typing before I had to restart. Was that there was one person in the party who has experience of using a cursed weapon?
You wouldn't know that because you were Ruinor at the time.
Yes, I said I was writing that, like out of character.
Because Yukikaze might have remembered.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm remembering or mentioning right now, is because I want to be like... I don't remember... If I remember right, it was cursed, but it wasn't something detrimental. And I also want to say...
It was pretty detrimental.
It depends on if you... Yeah, if you consider this to be detrimental.
Well, I'm trying to remember... I don't remember exactly what it was.
Remember what we did, but it had like a spirit living inside of it. It was a spirit of vengeance.
It was an awesome spirit. It was a spirit of awesome.
Yeah, or what was it?
The spirit of justice.
Name? Yeah, what was his name?
I don't think you were given a
I
name.
think I remember. I think you did.
No, we don't, but because he kept talking about justice.
What? Because he kept talking about justice, what?
Able to remove him.
Trying to find the most efficient ways of dealing justice.
It made him awesome?
Flying.
I think we should move on. We've been there a little too long.
It
So
is
we
quiet in this hallway.
We could go back to that room with the traps, and I could make a new floor, so we could go through that way when we desire to head in further.
We shouldn't go. We shouldn't go behind the whale until we've had a long rest.
I agree with that. I'm saying in preparation for heading further in.
Why would that need to be? You're still obsessed by that being the only way to the whale, and pretty sure there are other ways.
There is another way, but one way, we know where the traps are, and can know how to get around them.
We still got, what, 5 hours? We can find out.
What are you doing, Cat?
I feel like if I you guys aren't gonna let me use the sword at all, or even try. I would like to, because if it isn't anything bad, I would like to use it, because it's cool. But...
We don't know that it isn't bad.
No, I know. That's what I'm thinking, though. You won't even let me, or you won't even try.
I believe that the safest thing is for me to cast Legend Lore tomorrow and see if we can figure it out.
Do you even know if it will tell you anything about a curse that might be on it?
No. It is not certain. However, most stories that will revolve around a powerful cursed artifact will also involve some kind of information about the curse or the downfall of the wielder or things such as that.
And
I believe that if there's anything particularly noteworthy that we should be careful of, we will find out. And if nothing comes to light from legend lore, it's probably safe enough to attune.
True, but I'm honestly not sure if it's more risky to have you running without your most powerful spell when we're going in there.
Well, there's also the option is I have lots of rope on me. I could take off my armor, you can tie me up, I can attune it, you can see what's going on, and then untune it if there's a problem.
My vote for the next step would be to possibly head back to the entrance, let people attune to the items we know are safe for certain.
I would posit that we don't know that any of them are safe for certain until we've cast Remove Curse on each of them, after they've been attuned.
Well, regardless, we still need to see with them. So I vote we head to a place of safety and figure out what we can and cannot use, and decide if it's worth using a 5th level spell slot to try and find out about the curse without owning it. So I'm not entirely sure it's worth it.
Actually, on that note, Vendar, how are you feeling?
I'm like a shadow in the night.
So,
I
same as
see.
usual?
Yeah, why are you trying to uncurse him right now to see if that
Because
thing...
he didn't get, like, the...
But it is possible that is
That was my
an insidious
overreacting
curse.
as... That was my overreacting as a freaking stupid geek about swords.
Then I will thank you for being a geek about swords, because it allowed us to unattune you from the cursed item, and thus know that it is cursed. Vendar,
Yeah,
I don't think you answered the question I was asking.
I don't feel cursed. I didn't learn of any curses or anything when I was...
I'm gonna roll
attuned
insight. I'm gonna send it to Tristan.
Okay.
Good luck with that against Mr.
I know.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah,
It's
me,
great.
Captain Ted. I don't know what you're talking about.
Why are you...
You probably should just do it to everyone regardless.
To anyone who has attuned an item.
That
Yes.
we could spend our last few hours doing that, perhaps.
Because they're gonna rest along. We're gonna rest after this anyways, right? And that's how you guys get your magic back.
In a
That
number
is
of
how Leah gets her magic back.
Oh, I don't know how you other guys get your magic back.
he
Except for
meditates for
Cyrus.
4 hours. I sleep for like reads a book for an hour?
Must be a good book.
For me, it just comes back after an hour doing nothing.
Yeah, my point exactly.
Why don't you make a perception test, Lara?
Who is making a perception test?
Lara Mendes.
You.
Okay. Do I get my passive?
Yes, so your passive always substitutes if it's higher than your roll.
Then that is a 14.
Okay. So you are aware
That is
that
higher than 5.
you are aware that as the smoke rises to the ceiling, it does like gather and stay. There is a light haze beginning to form up across the ceiling as it kind of goes up, hits the ceiling above him, and begins to diffuse out toward the corners.
Mm-hmm. It is going to be a difficult thing to wear for long stretches of time indoors.
There isn't a trigger?
Yeah, is that automatic? That just happens?
Yeah, it seems to.
Could you
For me
do me
to-
a favor and take it off for a minute and see if it will, I don't know, smoke less?
There isn't a way to turn it off.
Humor me?
I can take it off though, so I'll take it off. I'll take it off for now, so it will.
He becomes no more visible to you as he holds the cloak in his hand.
Huh.
Or you imagine he's holding the cloak in his hand. You can't tell that anything's changed.
Because it's surrounding him.
So it didn't stop.
Maybe, I'm gonna try picking it up and seeing if A, he becomes more visible, or B, if it smokes less.
Okay, you may enter the smoke. Vendar, are you, like, holding on to it, or did you put it on the floor?
It's in my hands.
It's in your hand. So you can see Cyrus approaching you and entering the smoke cloud. Your vision isn't obstructed by the smoke. You're aware it's there, but it doesn't prevent you from perceiving. He seems to be reaching out, trying to find the cloak on the floor.
I'll put it in his hand.
Alright, you feel this light, ethereal, almost, material brush over your arm, and you can feel Vendar's fingers through it, pressing it into your hand.
Alright, I'll try and take it and say, thanks.
What do you do with it? Let's see, let's get Cyrus
back up
over.
a couple steps, trying to see if he'll become more visible or if there will be less smoke.
Sure. Which way are you going? Are you going into the room with the stacks or back out in the hallway?
Probably into the room with the stacks, because that's got the closest.
Alright, do you want to be, like, over here?
That'll do.
Okay. Vendar seems to be completely visible. You can't tell because you're just blind in a cloud of smoke. It doesn't smell too good.
Is it making less smoke?
No.
Can people see him? Like, I'm asking that in
Sorry.
character, since I apparently can't see.
So, it is not making less smoke.
For the others, the cloak doesn't seem to be producing less smoke, although Vendar is no longer standing in it. So you can see him. The smoke is now enshrouding Cyrus.
Alright, Vendor, take this thing back, please. I can't see.
Okay. I'll go and take it back.
Okay. You move over to him and retrieve it. Are you going to move out of the smoke again?
Yeah, I'd like to be able to have some clue as to where I'm walking.
Okay. He comes over into the smoke. You can feel his presence. He takes it from you and points you in the direction of the door. You walk out of the cloud and you can see again.
So, that's gonna be a problem when sleeping indoors or in a hut. If the hut traps the smoke, that is.
Have you tried wearing it
It
inside
might
out?
not. What was that?
Try that. She said try wear it inside out.
Does it have an inside out? I was holding it, I'm still not entirely sure.
I mean, it's almost a cereal now.
It's like having
I
an
can
inside
try it. Try to flip it inside out and wear it that way.
You flip the cloak inside out. As far as you can tell, nothing changes.
Seem to
Did you
it.
do it?
Can you move so you're no longer standing where the smoke already is?
I mean, if I move while wearing the cloak, it's just gonna take it with me.
Have you tried?
I'll move around with the cloak on.
Sure. You move here and here. The cloud, its thickness, seems to move with Vendar. You can still see the funnel of it, the smokestack, as it were, rising up to the ceiling in thin wisps, but the lion's share, the body of the cloud, remains around him, concealing him.
Well then.
Well, that should only be a problem if we stay in one place for too long.
It will probably be an issue if I try to go into like an inn.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, just for
deal
like...
with that later.
Wait, will it stay attuned to him if it's still shoved in the bag of holding?
Or in any bag?
With a normal magic item, you can be separated from the item for 24 hours before losing your attunement, as long as nobody else attunes it during that time.
And you have to be like
Try
a certain
throwing little bag of holding.
Or you can
I
put
would-
it in your own bag and see if
I
that
would be
conceals it.
concerned about how the smoke would interact with the space.
That's
For
also
now,
true. I
let's
wouldn't want to
not-
have smoke in my face every time I open it.
You sound like more secrets, Scholar. Experimentation is the best way to uncover them.
Then try to put it in your own bag.
We do not have another bag of holding that we can safely test with. If we are able to acquire one, things could be different. But until such time,
Is the cloud acidic?
Oh, but it makes it difficult to see anything.
I think it is toxic. So,
Toxic is not the same as acidic. That would be a poison.
acidic, but it is toxic. I think so. Don't breathe in too much of it.
So,
What
you're
about
being
That
you?
makes it
poisoned
even
by your
worse.
cloak.
What I say, I guess, I think we should test all the items when we get back to the camp. I'll put the sword in the bag of holding, you know, as long as we're gonna test it one way or another.
No, I'm just gonna open the bag of holding and let's Larmendis, because I believe he held the sword last. We can
No,
put it in there.
I
No,
have the
took it
sword
away
in
from
my hand.
Kaze.
It's
Oh,
still in
you-
my hands.
You never let go of it. Okay.
Actively trying to attune it this whole time.
No, I'm not gonna be dishonest with you guys because I'm serious about testing this. I didn't try to attune to it again. I'd like us to do it because I'd like to know if it's usable for this, because we're fighting a lich, and I can't stress that enough. It's like we need to have all our options ready for this.
Yep.
Okay. I'll open the bag of holding and let you put it in.
Sword goes into the bag of holding.
Yeah, I'll put it in.
So, next
So,
step,
Either
test these items, see what's
Yeah.
safe.
Either let me take off my armor, tie me up, let me attune to it, or have Larman just do his lore thing. Or both.
First
I would
things
not-
first, we need to leave here. I vote we head back to the front room.
Yeah, we can start heading back to the front room. Well, I'm ready to head back to the front room.
I'm sick.
I believe that we should spend as little time as possible in the room with the cart before going to rest for the night with the toxic cloud emitted by the cloak.
And
Good
do we
point.
just want to do it in here? This room is fairly big, should give us time. It's been quiet so far.
It's
Instead
been...
of try to put it in a bag, just put it in any bag. See if the smoke goes out. It doesn't look like it goes through things.
Or
Are you sure?
pretty unsure, yeah.
Pretty sure. Because there's these, things called gaps in normal bags.
Do,
Things will flow
do I
out.
know that smoke has weight?
Well, also,
This guy?
if the
Yeah.
cloak is a double-edged sword, it
Okay.
would be cursed, so if you uncurse it, you'll know if it's cursed too.
We could do that.
Because you keep trying to find a solution for him to keep wearing it, even though it might be a problem. There's that to see if it is going to be a problem.
Well,
Just a thought.
Yeah. Laramendus, whatever the weight of this smoke is, it seems that the stuff that is leaving the area of Vendar is lighter than air, because it seems to rise and not fall.
Mhm.
So,
But if it's trapped in a bag of holding,
well, then it could fill the entire bag with smoke, which was previously filled with air. It shouldn't make it burst from weight, because then it'd be a lighter thing.
there's also the space requirements.
That.
But gases are compressible.
Enough?
Maybe.
This is my
Experimentation is
concern.
required, scholar!
And I don't wish to experiment with our only bag of holding.
Yeah, I don't want to break that.
So should I try to remove curse set? I need to be allowed to touch it.
Yeah, I believe that we should cast Remove Curse if we are able on every item that has been attuned. Every item in here that has been attuned.
Vendar, are you going to let them use Remove Curse on you? They have to find you, so you'll need to help them if you want them to do it.
Yes.
Messy giggles.
I think he said yes, but I wasn't sure if it was him understanding what I was telling him, or if it was...
I said I guess.
Oh, I guess. Okay.
But,
Okay.
'cause
If
I
you want to let them do it, you can choose to let them do it.
I'm gonna approach the smoke and stretch my hand out, trying to reach for the cloak.
As you enter the cloud of smoke, which becomes necessary as you reach into it farther and farther, probing around, trying to find the solid form of Vendar, you do become aware that the smoke does not smell very pleasant. It's not super strong, but it's definitely unpleasant.
This is a toxic, I assume it will also light up the pendant I have. It has a visible indication.
Right. It's not making an attack against your AC or anything like that, so your pendant doesn't go off. You're not taking damage.
I'm talking about
The other one.
proof against poison.
Ah.
Poison from Pioneer.
I always imagine that having like a greenish taint to it whenever there's potion are surrounding me. But
I think it's better if it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because then you don't, because you have no idea if it's actually like preventing anything or not, which is more fun to me.
I mean, I always imagined it was a pretty, singular thing. It just is. It didn't change.
Okay.
And that makes it easier for it to pass between people in a culture such as the one I've created, where they're like, yeah, it's magic, but you can't really prove it. Unless you've got a wizard who can prove it. Or somebody who can detect magic, which are pretty rare. You guys are like a lot of the magic of the entire world all concentrated in one place.
Yeah.
Hope you don't all die.
So you let me reach the cloak, Vandar? Or are you gonna toy with me?
I have food in my mouth, so.
Excuse me, what?
He said he has food in his mouth.
I didn't understand any of that.
He said, I have food in my mouth, so I can't answer right now.
Oh.
All I heard was I have to keep my mouth shut, so I thought he was just trying to keep smoke out of his mouth.
I only heard mumbles. I actually didn't make out any of it.
Yeah, you can type stuff, right?
Where's the fun in that?
Oh, it's all the fun. It's letters, occasionally numbers, and then they words, like magic.
Okay, so you cast, Remove Curse. You find Vendar and cast Remove Curse on him? Is that what I'm to understand?
Yeah, and then I will say, those curses bound by wicked strands removed by magic from my hands.
Okay. She mutters this in front of you, and you can perceive the magic as she channels it into you and thereby your cloak, and you do feel your attachment, your connection to the cloak dissipating, and as the light from your hand, the glow fades, Leah, you notice that the cloud of smoke around him immediately becomes thinner and thinner and thinner, and within about 10 seconds, it's gone back to just being a cloak with little wisps of smoke coming off the edges.
That's not good.
My guess is that the curse is the toxic smoke.
Yeah, the toxic smoke that I can't turn off. But now we have a way to turn it off.
Use a spell slot.
That I have 3
Two
of.
spell slots and
So
magic to
perhaps-
cast right now. So what else is she gonna use them for?
I mainly use them for Hellish Rebuke to, and also other stuff to keep myself from harm.
Also get them back after a short rest. So
Short rest won't help me if we're in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, I don't think we should like have anyone wearing that the majority of the time, but perhaps
it'll be
just
useful
before we
for
enter
Val.
the the veil. Unless that was like actively hurting you to wear.
No, it didn't hurt me. The smoke didn't affect me at all. I could see through it, and it didn't affect my. I don't know.
But it seemed to attach to you because when. No wait, I
Attached
wouldn't
to
know
the
that.
cloak.
Either.
So I guess leave that one as it is for now, at the very least.
I guess I'll put it in my bag now, and just keep it around, but not wear it.
Okay.
Well, seeing as we need to rest and test what's left. Do we want to do that here or back the front now that the smoke is no longer a problem?
I say the front.
I agree.
Let's go.
Okay, you guys go back to room 1. You trek back through the halls and the rooms just as you came. You notice that nothing has changed. You notice that it is just as quiet in every room as in every other room after the minions of this lich were destroyed. You don't hear any further movement. You haven't run into any new patrols.
And the stone wall is still there?
The stone wall appears to still be there.
Okay.
Kubriel is standing next to the cart, looking around warily. And you can see that her ears are radar dishing as you come up the stairs. You hear her growling, in fact, until the moment that the first person crests the stairs, and then you hear the growling trail off.
To my poor Meow Meow. She used to be so sweet.
So, I guess we need to come to a consensus on who's going to be using what before we, attune things to test them.
What is he talking about, Raiken?
We found stuff.
Stuff for me?
No, unfortunately, there's no tiger items.
She pads across the room, heavy thumps of her large paws over to you and sits down. She says, "You're sure?"
Yes, quite sure.
What did you
Raiken
find?
will say as he pets her.
She, brings her head down and rests it lightly on your shoulder, and you hear her say, "What did you find?"
I found this And he'll hold up the thunder gun.
She looks it over, and you see her face kind of wrinkle up. She's like, "It doesn't smell very good."
Yeah, I back off as soon as you do that. As soon as you take it off. And
What
hold
does
my
it
X.
do?
Oh,
Loud noises.
Well, I mean,
You don't hear it. You don't hear
it
it.
exploded my my javelin.
Is that a good thing?
No, it's gone now. I can't use it. It's splintered.
If a tiger could contain a laugh, that's what her face would tell you.
Fangs, but like smiling.
You just see like her lips like curling up over her fangs and then returning down to a straight face and then like curling again. Oh. What will you do?
Oh, well, you do have 4 more, so we're okay.
Oh, good.
I need to figure out how this actually works, so I'm gonna have to talk to Jebel.
Jebel knows how to make it work. Is it not magic?
It's not magic, but supposedly there were instructions for it. I need him to tell me how to do it.
She pads over to Jebel. Towers over him. And licks his face. He tastes scared.
I think Jebel's the one that's going to mind this the least.
What's going on?
You're being licked by a tiger.
No, I got that. I hadn't left yet.
Oh, okay. So you're asking Raiken, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, this is in character.
To teach me how to shoot the gun. If you told me.
I don't. He. What?
oh.
Oh, that. No. Yeah, no, Leah's got the bag of holding on her belt, just where it always was.
Yeah, I missed that message because that's when I was restarting my laptop.
Okay. So just so I understand, the sword is in the bag of holding.
Mm-hmm.
The cloak is in Vendar's backpack. Where are the boots?
I believe I put them in the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Okay. And the wand.
Jebel has
Jebel, I think, still has.
Jebel has the wand. Where is the tesseract? Where is the boxed cabin?
Larmendis have that? Oh, no, Cyrus had that.
Cyrus was the one who wanted to hold it.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm still holding it.
Yeah, you're holding the cabin, and I believe Larmendis has the tesseract.
I have the 0-point energy manipulator.
Yeah, that whichever is with.
So, does
I
anyone
have
want to lay claim to anything?
Yeah,
Jebel
I
is
have the
wearing the armor.
walkie-talkies.
Who's got the jaunt and jaws?
Is Jebel attuned to the armor?
No, I don't know if he had time. He put it on. And he's got the... I think he might still have the belt.
Hit the armor, and it was still just like we had no idea what it was.
Yeah. My nephew calls walkie-talkies walkie-talkers.
Okay, you put on the armor. Right. So. You've got, like, 4.25 hours to kill.
Which gives us enough time, I think, to actually test all the items.
Imagine we don't want to test the grenades, right?
Yeah, we
Please
don't
don't.
want to test those. Those don't require testing until combat.
I'll just hold on to them for now.
Does anyone in particular want the boots?
What do the boots do? They give more movement speed and no...
They, if I recall correctly, set your movement speed to 45, and attacks opportunity against you are made with disadvantage. So they would be useful to pretty much anyone for a variety of reasons. So does anyone in particular want them?
They would be most useful, but I cannot attune another item.
Me neither.
Okay, so you two are out just entirely. Good to know.
I'm wearing the armor of Bahamut, so I'm kind of a full set.
So you don't want these either. Raiken?
Right, you're talking about the boots or armor, right?
The boots, just the boots. The armor seems to already have a claim by Jibble.
Okay, so yeah,
And
so yeah.
he's wearing it, so you'd have to strip him naked to get it back.
Yeah, so there's no point in me having boots when I have Bahamut armor.
I want to clarify with the voice in the sky. Is that actually the case?
What? I'm sorry, I missed
That-
his question.
He's wearing full plate, which, you know, includes booty bits, and also bits for boots. But,
I mean, both of those are weird, but correct. Full plate armor includes sabatons, which go over boots.
so he could attune the boots and wear them, because that's
he could
how
wear 'em
magic stuff works.
Yeah. He could wear them under the armor, under the sabatons, since that's technically what sabatons are. It's just an armored boot that goes over a normal boot.
Yeah.
So yes, I can't see... I want to, but I can't really see a reason that wouldn't work.
Well, we can all justify it as, like, maybe Bahamut's armor doesn't play nice with other magic armor.
I mean,
It's part of a set.
That would be
weird and bad.
interesting.
And maybe
yeah,
amusing.
that would have implications, like a lot of them.
What did I miss?
I sent you a message, and they were finding out if Yukikaze could wear magic boots under his magic armor.
Armendus thinks so. And Sam is also very happy with his booty bits and bits for boots.
So,
Vindar doesn't really seem interested in the boots.
I'm interested in the boots.
What?
I would be interested in the boots, especially if nobody else is interested in them.
Well,
being able to go faster wouldn't be bad for me.
I'm alright. Lermis and Leah can't attune anything else. Jebel, can you attune anything else? You got the armor, you have your necklace thing.
So far, yeah.
To me, it sounds like Wendar might be the one who might need those the most.
He could.
If he is wearing the cloak, however, it is a more improved version of the boots.
I wouldn't mind. Like, I think probably one of the best fits would be me or Jebel for the boots. Jebel probably more primarily, since he does still like to, well...
Then do you want them?
I would, yes.
Would the boots continue functioning in his wild shape?
I'm not sure.
Jebel? I turned to Jebel.
I was about to correct myself on that.
I think we established that they wouldn't.
I think you established out of character with the voice in the sky that they wouldn't. I don't think we had the discussion in character. And Laramedis doesn't know how your magic works.
No, I'm saying it's good for Kristen. That's what we established with.
Okay.
I mean, I'm fine with you taking Cyrus if you want them.
I'm fielding questions at the same time, so I apologize if I missed part of the conversation and need to be caught up.
Jebel was just wanting to confirm that the boots wouldn't work in wild shape.
So I read through the rules on this, and it's the same for both polymorph and wild shape. Although the difference is that with polymorph, the person casting it gets to choose. With wild shape, the person casting it gets to choose. Meaning that the person affected in polymorph doesn't get to choose, but the person affected in wild shape does.
I thought regular polymorph, there was no choice. It just automatically morphed into it and didn't affect anything.
I thought I looked at it and it could go anyway. But sure, it's a lot safer if it just automatically morphed, and
Yeah, the target's gear melts into the new form. The creature can't activate, use, wield, or otherwise benefit from any of its equipment.
Okay, so with wild shape, however, it's a little bit different. You get 3 options. One is it melds in, and it's just gone until you regain your normal form, at which point it's back and no differences, nothing bad. 2, it falls off to the ground. I don't know why you'd ever choose that one. Or 3, if it's the kind of thing that can be worn, if there is a way that you can argue to me that your wild shape is able to wear it, then it can be worn and used by the wild shape. But
Okay,
that is
so
a very
boots,
limited
no.
supply of items, like maybe a hat and an eye patch, I guess, because there are tigers that wear eye patches in cartoons.
A wolf wearing a cloak.
A cloak
bit
is
like-
A cloak is reasonable because that could just tie around the neck and lay over the back of the wolf. That's reasonable. But the thing about it is the items, even though magic items tend to change shape with their user, animals don't count. It's only for humanoids. So if you become a large animal and you're wearing a belt, that belt is not going to grow with your large animal form. It's got to meld in or fall off. But I think that a cloak is reasonable in most cases.
Okay. So, instead of just asking repeatedly who's interested in what, I'm just gonna put out some suggestions here. I think that, obviously, either Raiken or Yukikaze should have the belt. You do have, if I recall, there was a belt of giant strength.
There was a belt of S-, which plus 2 strength.
Giant S-.
Yeah, that.
Oh, giant S-, right?
So, one of those two should probably have that. I think, based on who can attune and who can't, that Vindar or myself would make the best sense for the boots. And in regard, character actually, real quick. Does the rest of Arya know about the Wand of Cure Wounds or whatever it is, or did that just kind of get yoinked and stuffed in a belt?
Everything got identified.
I identified it.
Yeah, everything
So I
got
might have done that accidentally, and if somebody was trying to hide it, then that might have happened, but I thought that everyone was aware of it.
That one didn't require attunement, right?
Right.
So-
It was just an activation password.
So, I think anyone but Jebel or Raiken should have that wand. So as to have more people capable of healing.
Hmm. Who is...
You
If he
could...
goes, we should have it. He gets
I-
himself for a lot.
Well, it's not as much for self-healing as for healing the others. Perhaps someone on the back line, however. Because it could work.
I think me or Lara Mendes would be good for that.
Could work.
Oh, so both make sense.
I would say whoever ends up with the boots might be a good pick.
Which was what
They're
I was going to say.
Be the
'cause-
most maneuverable,
Also, Cure Wounds is a touch spell.
which is why we
So-
want them to be maneuverable.
Oh, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, in
Which
that
is why
case,
I was
I
gonna-
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
So Cyrus takes both.
That would be my request, yes.
And I will take the wand and throw it to Cyrus.
Are you legit throwing it?
Like tossing it, not throwing it
Okay.
at you.
I just...
I'm serious.
I'm making sure, because just
I
tossing
get
around
that.
magic items seems, reckless.
So it's like a fastball at you, right at your head.
It's one of these hey catch kind of throws, the easy to catch throws, I assume. And you're the same height, so but almost.
Alright,
And
and...
the sticks.
Well, I guess all that leaves for the attunable things is the belt. Which one of you wants it?
Hunger.
Wait, is my short sword attuned right? It has to be attuned, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, then I can't attune anything else at the moment if I'm gonna attempt the sword one later.
Then Raiken gets the belt.
The belt of champions.
Sure,
It is
that
now
can
the
be
champion belt.
I'm now imagining just a ridiculous, like, WWE belt.
That's exactly.
I mean, that is how Jebel was carrying it around when it was first found.
Slung over his shoulder.
Okay.
Got a big fist on it.
Now, I highly suggest that we don't all attune these at once. In case of curses.
Agreed. I'm gonna be busy enough already.
Well, you guys are lucky I was an idiot
Well,
and was
Google's already attuning his, right?
So I think one more should... How many remove curses can you do after getting a short rest, Leah?
3. But then I need the short rest again before going into combat.
No, I've not gotten new plate armor from the stuff from my old. I don't think so. I think it's the old stuff that I had before the.
We'll have to march back there and
Bahamut
get you some
armor.
new plate armor.
You said it was the shield, not the plate armor. Said it was the shield.
You don't... No, he said it was the
I
armor.
correctly
It was
remember.
the armor.
Because he asked if I used the
he
shield. I
asked
put the
you your
shield up,
role.
and I said, "Yep."
said it was
I
the
did
red
ask you
you
that
roll.
question, but the shield did not take damage because I rechecked how it works, and it does have to beat your AC. But that was all taken care of back then. This is known.
Armor that was damaged.
It was the
Besides, you
armor
don't
that
want
was
the shield
damaged.
Because you can't replace the shield very well. You can replace the armor.
That's true.
And I'm sure there's armor.
Back
that
in
has
the armor we
sword
just came
symbol
from.
on it.
There was plenty of plate armor. Several
And one
sets.
that had a cord symbol on it.
Not that I saw, but
There was another Bahamut
Uh-huh.
one.
yeah.
That's too bad. Apparently the nuns didn't give a shit about cord.
So... Everything that needs to be attuned is one thing in the progress. One thing that Mary figured out. It leaves 3 items: the sword, the boots, and the belt.
Oh, there was cord armor.
Oh, then I just didn't see it.
So says the die I just rolled.
Right. Yeah, because you didn't mention cord to me when I was looking for things, but
No, but you had specifically asked about Bahamut because Yukikaze was the one standing with you.
No, I had specifically asked for any religious symbol I recognized. Then you mentioned a list of names.
Yeah, that's true.
Considering it was Raiken that was with her, not Yukikaze.
It was, yeah.
So, I vote Team Short groups up, assumes their magic items, gets curse tested, and then we see about dealing with this sword nonsense.
Because only the sword is nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a silly statement there, Cyrus.
I'm sorry, I'm particularly distrusting of cursed weapons.
That's a really bad idea.
Yeah, that's...
I'm distrusting of all of them, but just those particularly more.
I would say that cursed armor is much more dangerous.
So it'd be harder to get, because
Well, we could just go one at a time if people want to take the extra time.
I mean,
I say yes to the taking extra time. Like I said, we're fighting a frickin' lich. Everything that we could possibly use needs to be used.
It'll like burn 4 hours before we can rest, right?
We still need to be careful. The magic items that curse could also be used against us when fighting a magical being of undead.
Well,
depending on the curse.
Yeah.
So, I guess first up is Dribble, since he is already wearing / tuning his...
Wait, we're doing this right here? We walking back to the cart first? Or...
We're at the cart.
We're at the
Alright,
cart.
we're at the
We
cart.
did that.
I thought so, but I was like, wait a second.
Oh, we are at the cart.
Sorry, a lot of conversation goes on. I sometimes lose place.
it's on the screen.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
You don't have Twitch up, do you?
I'm gonna roll deception.
No, why wouldn't you have Twitch up? That's where the combat grid is.
I think he just forgot.
Well, it's because I'm trying to reason with these guys to get them to, like, test this.
Hey, we're on board with the testing. At least I'm on board with the testing.
I tuned it right away. I mean, that's what I did.
Well, I did too, but then as soon as I seen the sword, they immediately like, I want to uncurse that.
Because it was bleeding and you were unresponsive. It seemed very alarming.
I was responsive. I was
No, you
Yeah.
weren't. You stood there saying nothing. That's the definition of unresponsive. Like, if you looked up in the or whatever this world has, that's possibly even close.
I guess
The definition of the word unresponsive, you'd see a picture of you holding that sword.
Unresponsive is if you're like, you're nudging them, be like, hey, you guys are just like Yukikaze. If I was distracted by something and infatuated, like if Laramandus was reading a page in his book and he was really happy, he's like, ooh, this is a good story.
We were saying your name.
And
The entire purpose of saying someone's name is to get their attention.
I responded the second time. If
The
you
second
remember.
time? No, wait, no, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Regardless, it's in the past, doesn't matter.
I was trying to play up that part of my character. And I guess I misunderstood, or you guys... Yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Well, out of character, yeah, did great with your character and all that, dude. Just, this is how I'm going to react to seeing that.
Yeah.
Like, this is by no means personal.
No, I just always feel I don't portray things the way I want or properly, and yeah.
Alright. So... I guess we wait and curse cleanse.
In the meantime, I am going to send to Nalia to arrange a time that we may speak through Ash.
Alright.
And
Okay.
I'll write him a diary because I can do that as part of a short rest. And I'm also going to wait for things to happen with those guys, of course. My diary is yeah, it's I believe it's in the chest in the cart actually, and not the it's in the chest in the cart and not in my bag of holding. So I go inside the cart and start writing in my diary.
Okay. You're going to go inside the cart and write in your diary?
Yep.
Okay. You go inside the cart, you open the bag of holding, and you summon
No,
your...
I just... Okay, you didn't pay attention. It's in the bag... the diary is not in my bag, it's in the chest in the cart. I left it there before going back in.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm yet to open the bag of holding to find something.
Okay. I was under the impression the diary was still in the bag of holding.
Yeah, I made sure to mention that like 5 seconds ago.
Okay. I'm constantly trying to find information here, so I can't always pay attention to the conversations. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, and just... No, I mentioned it. That's why I went into the cart.
Okay. You go to the cart and you get your book, you get your diary out of the chest. So that's what Leah's doing for, I guess, 4 hours.
Not for 1.
But yeah, I won't do that for all the 4 hours. I will be done long time before that. But
if you're so worried about the sword, how do you want to do it with me? Do you want me to take off my armor and tie me up, or are we waiting for the war magic from Armandus? What do you think?
Cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, Jebel. So it's
What was our plan on
process.
We're still
moving this place once we're done? Like, are we just gonna bash through the wall, or do we have like a spell that can make it easy to get through the wall?
No, we were bashing through it. If this, well, just, a few firebolts, a couple axe swings.
I can stone shape it if we still have spell slots to spare, but we might be in a position to not do that.
Do we by chance want to leave by way of teleportation circle?
We would have to leave the cart.
Right. We got the size limit.
And also, again, spell slots.
I'm not as worried about them for after we're done.
someone flipping a light switch or something?
No.
Fidgeting. Or he's slapping his fat gut.
So yeah,
No.
after people, can we just skip to after people have attuned things and to see if something happened to them? By that time I will have been done with my diary there. Won't take longer than an hour.
I want to see if I can figure out how to get that thunder gun to shoot.
You're pretty sure you know someone who knows.
What was going
By
on?
the time I'm...
We can always find out through more experimentation.
By the time I'm done writing in the diary, though, I will put it in the bag of holding.
I'm going to contact Nalia now.
Okay. Just before we do that, I just want to know if anyone is leaving this area before you do that, or is everybody still here in this room? I know that Leah's inside the cart, but the others, I was unsure if they were actually going to tromp off and try and find something.
I'm staying here.
Cyrus is here. Vendar?
Well, since we aren't attuning anything, I want to see if Raiken wants to go out and fire the boomsticks more.
Okay. When you say out, where do you mean? Because you know you've got this...
Can't go outside. I was just imagining like down the hallway into the room with the laser, probably.
I mean, you could go outside if you wanted to break the wall down.
Sure.
But you could go into the laser room if you preferred.
Just thinking like down the hall, and then only if Raiken wants to go with me. If he doesn't want to go, then...
Okay, well then you may ask Raiken. I can't answer for him, but that is a fine plan. Ask him.
We can get that gun to shoot.
Well, I think I'm gonna wait until Jebel gets done attuning and ask him how it is properly done.
We could always just figure it out how it's properly done. I figured out how mine shoots.
You should be able to just ask him now. He's just wearing armor. I don't think it takes much brain power.
Will Jebel even tell us how it works? He seemed pretty against us using them.
I mean, if you use them properly.
Better to ask permission than forgiveness.
It's forgiveness and permission.
Jebel, how do I fire this?
I will... I'll take out the notes that I took on how to actually fire them. I can't remember. Did I mention what language I wrote it in?
Did you mention what? It was a little muffled.
I took down notes.
Yep.
On how to fire things, but I can't remember. Did I specify that I wrote it in Gnomish or in Common or?
You wrote it in Gnomish.
You copied down Novus notes in Novus.
You did.
I mean, yeah, that way you
Well,
make sure that
you
the
can
words
read
are
it,
right when you bring it away.
Yes, and also because I'm a gnome. I will turn and I will look at Raiken and I will just say, "Do you have a piece of paper?"
Raiken will grab his journal from his backpack and rip out a piece of paper for him.
Okay. He pulls out a book that has surprisingly few pages used.
Asshole.
Honestly, it looks like he wrote his name on the front and filled in like the first two. I don't know. You can't count.
No.
Did he spell it right?
Yeah.
Raiken with a backwards
R.
K.
Toys Chaos.
Then I will just take out my copy of the instructions and I will translate them into Common as best I can.
Okay. You're writing down exactly what you wrote down the first time?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. Yeah, this one. Let's see. You go. We don't need these guys. No. Yes. Okay. So it's just you guys.
Oh, and when I hand over copied notes, I'll just say, be very careful. I mean, you've already seen what that stuff does.
That's why I want to know how to use it, so that I'll know for when the time comes when we actually do have to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. He hands you these sheet of notes in Common, and you head off down to room 3. Boop. And you can test out your guns here. The notes tell you that for the regular musket that Vendar has, you need to place one powder charge in, and then one musket ball. Cock the thing, aim, fire. It instructs you on, how to load it and make sure that it's all the way down. Then load the ball. Make sure not to tilt the barrel too far downward before firing, all that kind of stuff. But it gives you instructions. Vendar, you found you'd already kind of worked that out, luckily, earlier. But you feel a little bit more confident now using it. For Raiken, the instructions are similar, but differ in a couple key ways. For one thing, it takes 2 powder charges. You'll notice that the powder charges are the same. Curiosity question here. How many powder charges have you got, Vendar? Because you only told me that you took 1 powder charge and a couple balls last time.
I took 20 balls and 20 powder charges to keep on me, and then I put all the other ones,
Okay.
I have 20 on. I have 20
Okay.
each.
And do you have any of the shot packages for the thunder gun?
No.
So those are all in the bag of holding.
Hold on, yeah.
Okay. So you know that the instructions say that it requires 2 powder charges and 2 shot packages to load the thunder gun. It gives you, again, the same instructions on how to do that, making sure that they bottom out, and then aiming carefully, setting the hammer, and pulling the trigger.
Take 2 packs. We might want to go get more of those packets then.
What did you
I
mean?
don't
We
have
have
any
to go.
on me.
You're the one talking to Leah on this one. You're the one who put them in the bag against her wishes.
You're not aware. Are you mentioning that you did that, Vendar, or were you meaning to go to the armory?
I was meaning to go to the armory right now.
Okay, Raiken, your character isn't actually aware that he did that.
I did.
Oh?
So I got packets on me, so I have some powder charges.
But you don't have the shot for the
Yeah.
thunder gun.
Yeah, if we're gonna need to go back to the armory if we want to get some ammo for that.
Just shove a javelin in there.
Why did we leave ammo?
What was that about leaving ammo?
It said, why did we leave ammo?
No one mentioned grabbing it when we left.
Where are you gonna put it all?
Take it back to the cart.
You're also not there. It's just Vendar and Raiken.
Yeah, at the moment, it's just Vendar and Raiken standing at the bottom of the stairs, having walked, the 80 feet down the stairs, read the instruction, going, wait, shit. We're missing an
I
ingredient.
swore and I said something about grabbing. But
I mean, would you have?
Grabbed any as
You could have.
possible, Yeah, you
I mean,
could've.
why wouldn't I have if I'm taking the gun?
Okay. How many did you take? How many of each?
I didn't necessarily say I took like any to hold on to. I took the bags.
So the bags were 30 and 50 pounds.
They were, yeah, it was a huge thing to take the bags. So the only way we were going to take them was to put them in the bag of holding, which Leah very much didn't want.
Right.
I didn't take any out.
You didn't take any out, so, I mean, unless you lifted 80 pounds of bag, which I think you'd remember, then you must have taken a couple packages out of the bag. I can roll a d10, and you have 1d10 of each.
I mean, the information I have in the bag of holding is that it's 15 pound gunpowder and 25 pounds lead balls and thundershot gun.
Yes, I did put those in the bag of holding.
But nobody knows that except Vendar, and he's not.
Yeah, I just want to clarify the numbers.
Yeah, no.
He didn't put anything else.
Yeah.
Now I did. Leah's probably going to be mad about this, but I did, since she was being so unreasonable, I snuck the bag of holding away from her and put some of the ammo in anyway, but... So we could go back to the cart and get some from the bag of holding.
Tabaxi's
So
out of
likely
the bag
have to
now.
then deal with Leah's anger about it right then.
Are you kidding me? You sleight of handed Leah?
Unreasonable. We needed the gun, damn it. We needed ammo.
Then you have to talk to her.
That's why I suggest we go to the armory and get some. Because I don't want to do that right now. It's not far.
We'll go to the armory.
Okay.
Alright, and grab some ammo.
I need this. Get my
So
room
when
numbers
is this
right.
happening exactly?
This is all happening while you are writing in your journal, the other two are doing something, and Lermendis is contacting Nalia.
Okay.
I'm just patiently waiting because apparently we're still waiting for Jubble to finish the tuning and know if there's anything wrong.
Hey,
And I wanted to discuss methods for like how we're gonna test the sword because some people are worried about it.
well, we can discuss that in a bit once people get back. Is Yukikaze learning any languages at the moment?
Nope.
Would you like to be?
I think I might as well.
Alright. You may tell him what languages you have in your repertoire that you can start to teach him. Yukikaze, I want you to mark down each time you have an hour-long lesson. I put it as hours, right?
Because they teach people to speak rock.
I speak Elvish, Halfling, and Primordial.
Elvish. Well, wait, Elvish Primeval or the
Primordial.
Yeah, Primordial. What was the last one?
Halfling.
Halfling.
I didn't know half.
I mean, I speak other things as well, but you know them.
What includes Primordial?
Elementals.
Think Yukikaze speak primordial?
Nope. Because
I
of
thought
an
you were
error.
talking to-
Because of an error, apparently, with me and Trista, apparently I speak Terran.
How's that an
Whatever
error?
that
You
is.
were always speaking Terran.
Sure. You always said Terran.
What's Terran?
Yes.
I'm not worried. I remember when we made the character. It's on there. I'm not worried about
Yeah.
it now. It's too long in the past. You have Terran.
No, that's why I agree. I said, but Terran is only Earth elementals, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, good. Then I can just teach like the other few.
What do you mean? Primordial. So Primordial is a catch-all language. It's the base language for all the other 5. So all elementals understand it. They might speak primarily their own tongue, like Auran or Ignan or Terran, but they all understand Primordial.
So primordial is like common for elementals.
It's like common for elementals. That is exactly correct. And yes, 1 hour lesson. So if you spend the short rest doing this lesson, Malachi, mark it off that you have one 1 hour lesson in Primordial. There's a notes portion of your sheet on D&D Beyond. You can add it in there.
Okay. But
And I want you to keep track of every time, and I'll remind everybody, because I've said it before, I have it written down, I put it in the thing. Because I'm allowing you guys to learn languages from each other, which is part of the game, so, you know, I'm basically just including that rule, because it exists, and I've just set up my own rule for how it goes, is you spend a short rest, that's a 1 hour lesson, and after a certain number of 1 hour lessons, you're able to make rolls when people are communicating in the language to try and understand or communicate back. And those rolls get easier and easier the more lessons you have.
If I heard Cyrus was giving this lesson, could I join?
there's no reason you couldn't sit in if he might, if he protests, then you might have to have a discussion, but if you know you're in the area, so you'll know what's going on.
Yeah, and I assume...
As long as it doesn't interfere with the attunement.
Yeah.
If it sees attuning armor, it's not going to interfere. All he's got to do is wear that.
Yeah.
Okay, then. That's what you guys are doing, and because this is going to get interesting, I'll come back to Nalia, unfortunately. So, you guys need to climb over the bones. So, make your athletics checks to climb the bones. Or acrobatics.
I still like how it says Yukikaze is dying.
I mean, it was true then, it might be true now.
I mean, everybody's dying, right?
Just at different rates. Who knows? You might be the Usain Bolt of dying.
16.
16?
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Jeremy, I got a 19.
That's Yukikaze. Get out of there, Yukikaze. I need this guy. Boom. You got a what?
Cade.
A 19? Okay. So you both climb the bones just fine. This area looks much the same as it did. There's, you know, just the slimy, oily black spots on the floor where the puddings were. And next room is 18. Boof. Get everybody out of here. You guys head through the pool area again. Now, Vendar, you jumped in the pool already, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Raiken, why don't you roll me a will saving throw, because that water looks really clean and inviting. Wisdom saving throw.
$20.
Okay. You don't have to jump in it if you don't want to.
Doesn't.
Okay.
Vendar swims across the pool.
Vendar swims across the pool. Okay, so you're soaking wet again.
How refreshing.
You know, that just adds weight.
Thing.
I mean, it was definitely super refreshing. The water is cool and clean. So, you're approaching this door when the door up here opens. You see it slide up into the ceiling.
Oh no.
God.
Shit.
Fuck our lives.
What did I do with my mummy tokens? Did I delete them? That would be silly.
Oh no.
I'm gonna assume I deleted them and find new ones without wasting time. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. Imagials. Ah, you're a pretty boy, aren't you? Yes.
Knew this was gonna fucking happen.
Vendar seems considerably less upset about it. Boop. Yeah, look how cute he is.
Ugh. Yeah, it's adorable.
I'm still waiting for it to show up on my screen.
Size, that's what I'm looking for. And this was, I think, 0.28.
Door opens and we see that beautiful face.
Yup. These guys come in. Nah. One of them is carrying a torch, and one of them is carrying a feather duster.
Thunder gun?
That thunder gun that you only have powder charges for?
What did you... what?
They're carrying a feather duster. They are not carrying a thunder gun.
Oh!
I thought you said you were carrying he was carrying a thunder gun. I was like, what?
No. A torch and a feather duster.
I don't think he'd be able to carry it, depending on what he is.
Not with that attitude.
Imagine a giant zombie fucking busts in with a goddamn...
Come on, he made the...
No, his is actually a chain gun.
Yeah, it's like a fucking Gatling gun.
Now, you read through the instructions, and you found out that you didn't have all the materials you needed for the thunder gun. Did you still take that time to properly load your musket?
Yeah, my musket's loaded.
Okay, then I'll allow you to use it if you want to. Please roll initiative.
Got a 14.
17.
I think we just broke the golden rule of D&D. We split the party.
No. That would be...
That's the thing. The whole time in my head, I'm like, Tristan's gonna fuck us over. I know he will, because we're splitting the party up. But I can't do it with Raiken, because Raiken's not gonna say anything.
I mean, you still followed Larabendus' rule, Battle Buddy rule.
Battle Buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, the problem is one of the Battle Buddies is very low on health.
So we just need to amend the lectures. It's a learning experience for everyone. We will have learned when you come back.
Back alone, I'll have to make an excuse for what happened to Raiken.
More accurately, we'll learn what happens when I don't come back.
What happens when they don't?
Kubriel just poofs.
You just hear an, oh. And she disappears. Okay.
Oh, that is an option I can...
Nalia, and she's just like, what was that noise? She's like, what? Shit.
Is an option I can take.
Oh.
Just don't know how long it would take for her to get down there.
Ride me out of here.
I just like ask her to help us. Since you know I am less than like a mile away.
Okay, so the enemy... Sorry, I'll add more songs in a moment. I've only got the one in there at the moment because I'm trying to set things up. Enemies. In at 11. So, it is Vendar, and then Raiken, and then enemies, and then Vendar and Raiken enemies, Vendar, Raiken enemies. You got it? Cool. Vendar, you may declare your actions as these, nasty things roll into the hallway. Remember that cloak of smoke is in your backpack in case you want to make a clean getaway.
I would have to reattune it.
He hadn't attuned it.
It's still in there. Those are details.
Can I just put it back on?
Those are details?
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and aim my musket at the one with the torch and fire.
Okay. You will be rolling a d20 plus your dexterity modifier. You do not have proficiency with this weapon.
Okay.
Now, remind me, because I'm not looking at it at the moment, if you know, Sam, but sneak attack doesn't actually require you to be utilizing a weapon you have proficiency with. You just have to not have disadvantage.
It has to be a finesse weapon.
Yeah.
Well,
Finesse
it's
or light, I think.
I mean, it's
Or
using
range
dexterity, so it might
Yeah.
count, but that's kind of a gray area.
I've been
Ranged
counting it
weapon.
because it uses a bow.
It's with a finesse or ranged weapon. It has to be a finesse
okay.
it's for a melee, but or
Okay.
any ranged weapon.
Yeah. So I think that this counts. You just don't get your proficiency bonus to the attack roll because you don't have proficiency with this weapon. Because it's not any
So I got a
of these
15
things.
to hit.
You got a 15 to hit. Alright,
Shooter with it?
huh? What?
Use my sharpshooter ability with the musket.
I don't see why you couldn't.
Not going to this time, but that's
Okay.
really cool.
Okay. So... there's 2 of them. I'm gonna call them 10 back here and 11 here. 10 is wearing what looks to be chain, and 11 appears to be wearing plate. So a 15, will not hit either of those.
So it misses.
You missed by 1. The lighter one back here has 16, so... you fire, boosh! The echo, the hallway echoes, and you can feel it almost quaking around you with the sound, as the smoke fills this area in front of you. And when the smoke clears, you can see that both of the mummies are kind of looking at each other and back at you. They look unharmed, and you can see, like, on the wall of the hallway behind them, the splatter of your bullet. You are aware you missed. Shit. Alright. Right.
Can I,
Oh, yes, you can move and bonus action still.
I put my gun away with the bonus action.
You can, yes. You can put it away, but you won't be able to draw a new one.
So yeah, so how far away? I'll take like
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60 to the guy with 16 AC, 55 feet to the guy with 18 AC.
Alright, so I'll back up 10 feet and I'll put my gun away.
Okay, you back up 10 feet and store the gun. You technically still have a bonus action, since putting a weapon away or drawing it is an incidental. You can do once per turn. If you don't have anything to use the bonus action on that you want to do, you can skip it.
I'll skip it.
Okay. Raiken's up.
Ball. If I try to contact Kubriel, what is that?
It's speaking, so you get 6 seconds of words.
Okay. Crap, the only problem is she doesn't actually know where this is. God damn it.
Kubriel, come to me. Okay. What's taking you so long? Where are you? This place sucks. I'm lost. I found water.
I found this neat eye. It's looking at me. Ow!
Ow!
Not worth it. Raiken's going to drop the gun.
Okay, you drop the gun. There was a loud clang and thump as the gun's metal barrel collides with the ground.
And then it's going to use level 2 cure wounds.
Okay. Dropping the weapon is a free action, so you can still draw a weapon.
Okay, well, after I guess I'll draw my... Can I draw my axe and my shield at the same time, or do I can only draw one?
It takes an action to draw a shield. So, you can draw an attack with a weapon in the same action if you use your action, but if you want the shield and you don't already have it equipped, it takes you a full action to put it on, so you wouldn't get to attack. You could still draw the weapon.
I wasn't... Okay, so I just wouldn't be able to use my Cure Wounds this turn.
Right, so you can either use your Cure Wounds or draw your shield. You can draw your sword regardless.
Axe and use Cure Wounds.
Okay, you're gonna use Cure Wounds, and roll it up.
Axe, that's good.
I need, if anybody comes up with songs that they, like, feel fit combat, just, like, send them to me and I'll add them to the fight music playlist so that I can put them in rotation for stuff.
No longer bloodied.
Woo! Okay, you are no longer bloodied and you have your sword in your hand. You can still move. Would you like to? I heard an...
Raiken is actually going to stay put, but he's going to... no, he's going to move over 1 to block for Vendar.
Okay. Vendar, you are aware that this guy, not that it matters because of Sharpshooter, now has half cover. Alright, at the end of your turn?
Yeah.
Alright, bad guys. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. Oh wait, that only went 50? Nah. They're mummies. They're mummies. Okay. Back to Vendar. These, they come, like, running up the wall, like, loping up. You know, you can hear the crispy husk bodies crinkling and see little bits of dried corpse falling off as they run up, the torch flame flickering in the air, the feather duster raised like a sword.
I'm gonna shoot the one with the torch.
Okay.
My bow and use it. The one with the torch, the one with the plate, or the chain armor?
The one with the torch is going to be the one with the chain. The one with the feather duster was going to be that one. But you got Sharpshooter. You can draw your bow.
I will use my Sharpshooter on the one with the chain armor.
Okay, yep, that's this guy. Yeah.
Alright. He to hit a 17.
A 17 to hit, and you are using Sharpshooter, so that will hit.
As 37 magical piercing damage, 37 magical piercing damage.
Okay, 37 magical piercing damage. Good hit. It is definitely sandied.
And then I'll go ahead and back up another 10 feet.
He's looking pretty rough. You're going to back up another 10 feet. Boop.
Can't spit sand in my eyes.
Okay. And Raiken's turn.
They're probably just going to do it anyway, but...
Oh, wait, shoot.
Raiken is going to put his shield on.
I am so sorry. Okay, you put your shield on. That is your action. You can move and bonus action still.
Which one is super bloody? Or bloody at all? Or if it is it bloody?
The one directly in front of you, and it's super bloody. Sandy.
I'm going to... out of enmity, the one on the right.
You vow of
so the
enmity.
One that's not hurt.
There we go.
Isn't Channel Divinity an action?
No, it's a bonus.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Bonus action. You vow of enmity it. What effect does that have immediately, or does it not?
I choose a creature within 10 feet and gain advantage on attack rolls against it for 1 minute or until it drops to 0 HP.
Okay. So, this one here is the one that's bloody. This one here is the one that's not.
So the one that's not.
Okay.
Is the one I want.
Okay. Then, all you have left is movement, but I don't know if you want to use it.
Raiken's not going to use it.
Okay. The one with the torch is going to breathe sand at you.
Of course.
Boop. So make a dexterity saving throw.
Of course, that's the one I roll shitty on. So 5.
So it's a good thing you have Vow of Enmity. So that's going to cancel out your disadvantage.
Yeah, well, disadvantage on that one, on the one that I have Vow of Enmity on.
Yes. The other one is going to swing its feather... The other one's going to swing its feather duster at you.
The feather duster.
It swings the feather duster, which appears to be like a small stake of wood with, like, peacock feathers or something coming out of it. Like some very kind of colorful, surprisingly colorful feathers all kind of just poking out at random angles. It swings and it collides with your armor and snaps off. And just rattles to the floor. And it kind of... It pauses for a moment looking at the broken handle. And then it goes to bite you.
No, that's what Raiken did. Pretty much both of them just looked down at the broken and then looked back up at the stake.
Yeah. And then it goes to try and bite you. And gets a 16, which is probably not going to hit.
Will not hit.
Okay. 16 doesn't hit. That makes it Vendar's turn again.
Alright, I'll see about finishing off the one with the torch.
Okay, Torchy.
Oh, he's gonna be in a...
It's a 17 to hit.
17 to hit, that will hit. Assuming you were... Yeah, right.
I was not using sharpshooter.
Right, but you get the ignore cover
I get the ignore
whether
cover,
you
yeah. The
use it or
sharpshooter
not.
is just, yeah,
okay.
That just adds to damage.
Right. Never mind then.
Negative attack roll.
Okay. For some reason, my brain was like, he only gets to ignore cover if he uses it. And I'm like, no, that's not right. You're fine. You hit.
Alright, so 10... 36 magical piercing damage. I know
Okay.
that.
That thing is fucking super dead.
Yay!
Equals to negative 23. There we go. Alright. You murderized my poor Zambi. My poor mummy. Movie.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
Now, Raiken's turn. If you're not doing anything else, are you doing anything else?
Now I'm done.
Okay, cool. Raiken's turn.
Then Raiken will attack.
Okay.
God damn it!
You mean core damage?
Yeah.
So, yeah, God damn it. That's a 1. So I'm gonna...
That's gonna miss. Because your at disadvantage is canceling your advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So roll for second attack.
I got 20 to hit.
You will hit.
Okay. 8. Huh. And I deal 9 points of silvered slashing non-magical damage.
9 points. Alrighty.
9 points.
And Raiken one step over to where he's in front of the mummy now.
Boop. Okay. Mummy's turn. It kind of looks at its dead companion for a moment, and it looks at you, and then it kind of like tilts its head and sees Vendar behind you. And it moves here and then here. And it's going to sandblast at Vendar.
God damn it. I knew it was going to happen anyway.
So make a dexterity saving throw.
I'm not close enough to
You're
Raiken.
good at it.
No.
I rolled shit.
No, you're actually good at dexterity too.
I got 11.
You got 11, that's too low. You have disadvantage for the next 2 rounds.
Oh,
I did
no.
it.
Question. Was this a zombie with a duster or the zombie with a torch?
The zombie with the
Oh,
duster. The
the
one with the
duster.
torch is the one that blew sand the first time.
Okay.
I kept track.
Ironic, isn't it, that the one who's running around wanting to dust the hole now spits sand all over the place?
Well, I mean, you know, we can go clean it up later.
There's something to do.
Where do you think they get all the sand?
They're
I mean, it's
made
this a long
of
time.
sand. Alright, that's it for that turn. So it's Vendar again.
He's
well,
at disadvantage now.
I will scream, God damn it, and fuck you at the goddamn mummy, and I will shoot it with an arrow.
Okay. Now the disadvantage is preventing you from getting sneak
I missed.
attack.
I missed.
Is he next to? But because he's next to me, does it cancel that out?
What? It cancels out sneak attack because he has disadvantage.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it. Yeah, but I thought he could just attack normally though, because it's still next to me.
No, he doesn't get advantage because
you
you're
have
there.
advantage or is already engaged with an ally.
Right. Having advantage is one of the conditions for getting sneak attack, but you being next to him doesn't give him advantage. It just allows him to trigger sneak attack if he doesn't have disadvantage. But he has disadvantage, and he missed anyway, so it doesn't matter. That makes it the Raiken's turn. Ax him. Ax him a question.
22.
You hit.
God damn it. 6 silvered slashing non-magical damage.
6. Very good. You may attack again.
11.
11. Not gonna be enough. But the good news is that you finally got the sand out of your eyes.
Yes.
Alright.
And I'm not gonna move.
Okay.
Actually, I'll move down to his side.
Right.
Down to the mummy's side.
Right here?
Yes.
You're like huggy buddies. Okay. Well, he's going to turn and attack you, with his hands, because his feather duster sucks.
Grimy mummy hands.
Broke it. That's a 15, so that's not going to hit. And he's going to try to bite you. And that's a 7, so that's not going to hit.
Yay.
Vendar's turn. You still have disadvantage for this round.
I'm going to try to shoot it.
Alright, try. Faith in you.
I missed.
You miss. Okay, Raiken's turn.
I got a 16, actually. Is that it?
A 16? Well, this guy has 18.
Yes, definitely missed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has plate armor.
I would have had to roll again to roll lower, even if I hadn't managed to hit.
22 again.
No, I'm gonna back up 15 feet, so he can't fucking sandblast me.
Yeah, you're gonna back up 15 feet so they can't sandblast you. Boop, boop, boop. I mean, you're already sandblasted, so.
Don't want him to
not
do it
anymore.
again.
That turn is done.
Alright, Raiken's
That
turn.
was my last fight.
So I got a 22.
Oh, 22. Nice. You hit.
And 11 points of silver slashing.
11. Alrighty, Sandy.
Max.
Nice. Attack again.
And then 25.
25 will hit.
For 8 silver slashing, not magical.
Okay, that brings us to... Yeah.
And I won't move. This time.
Okay. You slash him with your axe, and he is, he is quite hurt now. After you is him. So he's gonna try and retaliate. And, gets an 18. No. Okay.
I heard 8.
18.
Oh, no. Still no.
Okay. So he's gonna try and bite you. And it gets an 11.
Close.
So close.
That one actually hit.
Yeah. So he can't hit Raiken for crap. Which makes it.
We're doing the right jobs. It's amazing. He's tanking. I'm shooting. It's awesome.
It's almost like the lectures worked.
Finish him off, Vendar.
Yeah, Vendar's turn.
Alright, then I'm gonna shoot him. Disadvantage. I got a 19 to hit.
Forgot about using my advantage now.
You could have gotten a crit. All right, you hit that with a 19.
$24 magical piercing damage.
24 magical piercing damage. He dies.
I rolled two more die just to see, and they were both ones, so...
Boop. Okay. So, you guys go into the armory. Everything looks cool in there. Yeah, you can get the ammo and begin playing.
I assume there are arrows in the armory as well?
Yes.
Arrows. Funny arrows.
There are wooden arrows that are looking aged, dry, but they might suffice. You know, your experience with arrows tells you they might break when you try to use them, but you do notice something interesting in here, that there are arrows that have what look to be brass shafts. And when you go to pick them up, you find that they're hollow on the inside.
Can I put stuff in them?
I mean, you probably could. But it looks to you... roll a investigation.
An 18. Investigation 18.
So it looks to you, as far as you can tell, you examine the arrows and you kind of, roll them and test the shaft roundness and straightness and examine them and try to figure this out. And you realize that brass would be pretty heavy if they were solid, so probably they're hollow to make them light enough to shoot without having to think too much about changing trajectory between solid wooden shafts and hollow brass shafts. But that's just a guess. They definitely have aged fine because they haven't corroded or deteriorated really at all. They look to be much more reliable than the wooden shafts out of this batch. There's about 30 of these here.
Just them out.
You're gonna grab them all?
And first, I want to take one. And I want to shoot it into the.
Oh, test them out. Okay, I heard
Yeah.
stem out, and I'm like, what? Test them out. Yes.
I want to test them out. Yeah, I want to
Okay.
take one. And I want to shoot it into one of the.
All right.
Like
Roll an
another one.
attack.
20.
A 20. Very nice. Yeah, you fire it forward. It lands a little lower than you expected it to, given how you've been shooting arrows lately. But it seems that might just be because the material is a little less flexy than a wooden shaft, and a bit heavier. So you think that if you practice with these a little, it would be just fine. You can make these work, and you're going to be in here messing with the guns. You can also take the time to practice with these. They'd basically just impart, like a -2, and you can get that reduced to 0 to attack with if you practice with them.
And add anything to the arrow, or if it's just that they're.
It's just so they don't deteriorate. That's all.
I'll take some time to play with them and practice with them while we're here, and I'll. It won't be weird.
Okay. Cool beans. Okay, so back to the other group. You survived your encounter. Good job. Now they get all the solo XPs.
Hey, we avoided that encounter like a boss.
I know. I was teasing. I imagine somebody would cry foul.
Foul.
See? And it was exactly the person I thought it was going to be.
A chicken just flutters at you. You die.
Becoming predictable, Derek.
I mean, I was just being corny.
Mm-hmm. That's all good. Okay, so back to room. Excuse you. 1 without Raiken. Get out of here, Raiken. Without Vendar. Fuck off, Vendar.
Aw.
Nope. You guys die, probably. Alright, so they leave. Leah, sorry. I haven't been. Sometimes I'm typing and doing stuff and I forget to move things around. And that is all me. I need to get better about it. She's still banished, right? Kyoko?
Yes.
Okay. These guys are lessening over here. Okay, so Leah goes in diary, those guys lessen, you do ascending, you get your answer, and you look to Ash, and he begins to glow, and then forms into the shape of Nalia's face.
Where that thing?
Yes.
You will notice that as he does it this time, there's a bit of distortion every now and then. You know, lines here and there form, or rather lines of light just sort of disappear around the face, making it look a little less stable. And when her voice comes through, there's just a little bit of tinny attenuation to it.
Curious.
It's definitely different from last time, which was basically a perfect facsimile, both image and voice.
Mm-hmm.
So she appears, and she looks at you, and says, "Ah, there. It's good to see you."
It's good to see you as well.
I was worried that perhaps you would disappear into the depths of the sands, since I wasn't sure what you'd find out there, and I'd never hear from you again.
Well, that has yet to happen, but we have made some interesting discoveries about the potential information involving the storms and Gnomish technology. Interesting things that will be discussed later, hopefully.
You see her eyebrows rise, and you can feel almost, attenuated though it is, the intensity as she enters spring.
But before any of that, it seems that we were correct in our assumption that there was a servant of Vecna here. It appears there is a lich.
Oh my.
Yes. Ash, one of Ash's previous scholars, or was it the voice in the sky? Was it the previous scholar, or was it one of the previous scholars?
It is.
It doesn't actually matter, but
yeah, it's as far as Ash has talked about it. He seems to refer to Zathala as his previous scholar, like the immediate previous to you.
Okay.
And he's also said that it was almost exactly 100 years ago. It's like 111 years ago. He can give you an exact amount of time.
Yeah. Ash's previous scholar apparently had discovered this and came to deal with the creature. But, as you can probably assume, that does not appear to have worked particularly well. However, we did find a wonderful little magical item in which some of Ash's memories had been preserved. I was hoping that at some point tonight I might be able to cast your teleportation circle to pass this off to you to bring to a temple of Ione for safekeeping.
I could do that for you. I would be willing to accept that. You'd have to bring it through, or, well, someone would have to go through to retrieve it from you.
Of course.
Are you noticing this attenuation in the connection?
Yes.
Do you know its cause?
No.
It wasn't present the last time we spoke.
He's close enough. Can I interject?
Yeah.
Sure.
Perhaps it's just the proximity of the storms? Or being that this is where they end up?
She kind of looks, you see her eyes tracking around a little as she's thinking. You're not entirely sure what's going through her mind. She says, what have you learned about the storms exactly? Refresh me in case you told me.
They all travel to here. They pull in magic from the surrounding area, and we found a few...
Which particularly sucks for sorcerers.
It does. You are as batteries for the storm.
So the magic is gone, into the storm, devoured.
Yes. But we found some pieces of magical technology which appear to function in a similar way, in that they will pull ambient magic and hold it as a charge, and then that will allow them to function later on.
That's fascinating.
I was hoping to send one of these things along to you.
I would like that very much.
With the box.
What kind of a device is it? Don't keep secrets from me now.
It creates a fireball.
Like the spell?
It's smaller, but out of character. I think it was a higher level than...
It's 5th.
5th.
It's the damage of a 5th level fireball, but it's smaller. Its radius is 20 instead of 40 or 30.
It's 15 instead of 20.
Yeah, 15 instead of 20. Yeah.
A smaller radius, but about the power of a 5th level spell.
You again see her eyes light up.
With differing. Actually, I don't know that. There are different colors of gems. I would assume that they are different elementals.
Interesting. And they function whether you're a spellcaster or not?
That seems to be the case.
That's amazing. I want them.
I will
to study.
Send you... Of course. I will send one along with the box.
Yes. This box, is it something special or do we know of it? It sounds like a memory box.
Yeah. I couldn't remember what we had called it out of character.
I mean, I just gave it a simple name. You could give it a cooler name, but I just called it a memory box.
Memory box is good. Wizards are complex enough. Simple is better. Yes, it appears that the previous scholar was an enchanter and made good use of his talents.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure he served Ione well, until his death, of course. I'm very sorry. Ash was your companion's name?
Does Ash respond? Because we have established that Ash can respond.
Yes. Yes, you do hear, like, Ash speaking, even though, and it comes from the same place as her voice, even though her mouth doesn't move. And you just hear, your condolences are acceptable to me. Thank you.
There was one other thing that I was hoping to request, if you have time, since we're making a handoff of things anyway. We recently came into possession of quite a large sum of gold.
Oh, you've got capital.
In the vaults. And would like to exchange that for reagents that might be more useful to us in the coming day.
Okay. I can arrange for those. If you can tell me what you need, I can get you the cost. I assume you're transferring me exactly the amount that it will cost me?
Yes.
Very good.
Let me just find... I wrote it down. Or I had it down.
Perhaps you don't need all of that money weighing you down while you're in danger?
That is also a decent reason for getting rid of it.
I mean, then I could take the rest of it off your hands and invest it. Hold on to it until you...
I can speak with my companions. But the items that we would like are the reagents to cast the reincarnate spell twice.
Alright, slow down. You can hear her pen scratching.
Yeah. Greater restoration twice. And revivify 3 times.
Revivify 3 times. So 2, 2, and 3. Reincarnate. Wait, reincarnate? Are you sure on that one?
Yes.
Is that like an 8th level spell?
Jebel told me that he could cast it.
It's 5th level.
It's what?
It's 5th level.
It's 5th level? Huh.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I think it's only a druid spell.
I believe so.
Yeah, it's only a druid spell.
Right,
yeah, so
but it's like, remake my character spell.
Well, so that's what actually I was curious about. Will they even know what reagents those are? Like, because you actually have to detail what they are? Because I don't...
He handed me a list of what the reagents are, so I can describe what the reagents for reincarnate actually are.
Okay. So she's going to... Did you say the reagents for reincarnate? When you first said it?
Yes.
Okay, so she's going to write everything down, and she does come back to... You said reincarnate. Not... something else? Regenerate?
Correct. Reincarnate.
Reincarnate is fun, because it technically makes the target into Doctor Who.
You see her head kind of, like, moving and spinning and tilting... And then finally, you see it, you hear a thunk, and you hear the flipping of pages. I don't understand. That is not... Okay. Reincarnate?
Yes.
You can't cast this spell.
I cannot. I can't cast any of these spells. However,
it's true. You have friends
Paladin
that can.
And we have recently come into the company of a druid.
You have come into the company of a what?
A druid. They exist. Oh, Jebel says...
Jebel says
Did Jebel respond when I said a druid?
What did Jebel say?
I said we've met.
With Nalia?
The first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but did you explain to her that...
room.
Yeah, but was there a time to digress and tell her he was a druid, or was it just a hi, I'm Jebel?
I cannot remember.
I can't either. We're playing it this way now.
Okay.
We're playing it this way now. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Hi, I'm Jebel sounds legit.
It sounds legit.
More, what's the term? On brand.
You actually see something new materialize. It appears to be a portion of her hand, with her finger curled against her lip as she looks deep in thought.
I can explain what the...
quite the eclectic bunch, haven't you?
Yep.
I do hope that, for Ione's sake, you're documenting all of this.
Of course.
You are just lucky I paid attention in your classes. I mean, I paid attention in all of my classes. You didn't teach us about druids.
No, well, they didn't exist. As far as the university was concerned.
Actually, this raises a point. Would you have taught folklore and mythos?
Oh, actually, yeah.
So it would have been
one of the few people who was like, "No, these exist." Holy shit!
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Vindication.
Vindication.
Clarimentus is thrilled to find out that druids actually exist.
Vindication.
Yes, they do actually exist, and I think I might need to next time I'm at the university have some choice words with some of the other professors.
Oh, can I be there? Take me with you.
I just imagine, as you mentioned, like druids didn't exist, all that. I imagine Jabal just like
I existed.
looking at this body and like touching himself. Was like, what? Like,
Starts feeling his pulse.
Yeah.
I definitely.
Has an existential crisis.
When would you like to do this teleportation circle? Also, what time is it where you are?
I say the time because I'm aware with when I say how many hours until sunset or sunrise.
Okay.
Laramendus has a very good clock with the feet.
Yes. So the hours until sunset, we're gonna go with 1.
Okay.
No.
And she kind of ponders this. You hear some more scratching. She goes, "Okay. It seems you're about perhaps 4 hours ahead of me. Let me see here. No. You're much farther over than I thought. Hold on. 7. Wow. I'm going to update my maps! I can add timelines to them. You are exactly on the map where we circled earlier, yes?
Out of character, I think so.
Yes.
Or very
You're in
close
the circle. You're in the circle, and you can give her a little bit more detail, just based on travel time from a known location.
I'll convey that.
Okay. So you hear a clatter as she sets something down on a table, and you hear long scratches, and then more scratches as she writes. It's like, all right, it's not exact, but it's far better than we've had until now. Excellent. We never had anyone that far out. We only had, Anyway, we'll talk about it later. Now then, tomorrow is when you want to do the teleportation circle.
I would like to do it before the end of a long rest, so that I might have my 5th level spell.
So you want to do it, for all intents and purposes, game mechanics wise, it was 4 hours that you needed to kill, or 3 hours that you needed to kill, and then 8 hours for a long rest. So you basically want to do it in approximately 11 hours?
Yeah.
Okay. You can convey that to her because it's going to be much more useful.
Yeah.
Okay. She says, "Oh, that will be quite late at night for me, but it'll be fine. I can have the items that you've requested. I believe that, yes. I should have most of these in my own stock, and I have a shipment that I haven't received today. And if it's not in there, there are a couple arcanist shops I can check around the city. I've got connections. I'll have what you need, Lair. Don't
Thank you.
Die on me.
I am endeavoring not to. Thus the great amount of spells to bring someone back.
What do you know about liches?
out of character, did we actually make
You
knowledge
whiffed.
checks?
You
I
whiffed the last time when you fought the necromancer and you
Oh,
thought he
yeah,
had
alright,
something
'cause
like a
necromancy
phylactery.
was not. I was distracted during most of the lectures that touched upon their kinds of magic.
Okay. Well, I've had to stay brushed up on most everything, as you know, as the Archmage for Lord Sivan. Any event. Not the point. Point is, if this really is a lich, as you say, that means it is a wizard who has made a contract with some fell force to live beyond death. They are kept that way by a particular item, something special to them. It might be, like a locket, or a music box, or some sort of keepsake. It could be a medium item, like a painting, or something very small that they keep on them. But you're going to need to find it, and it's going to be infused with a lot of magic. If you want to destroy the Lich, and it sounds like if you're working with Ione now, and it is a Lich of Vecna that is going to be your purpose, you're going to need to destroy that item. And know that destroying that item will not destroy the Lich. You will have to do both.
Is this something that it should be keeping close to itself?
It does not need to. But it might be. Our information on Liches is not complete, but this is what we know. We know that they rely on this item in order to stay alive. We know that they cannot be destroyed forever unless it is destroyed concurrent with their own destruction. You must find it. We don't have any good data on how long it takes them to come back. It doesn't seem to be instantaneous, but it can take several days. That's what I can give you. That's what I studied. But, again, this doesn't happen often. They are necessarily reclusive and powerful. They aren't often destroyed. Honestly, the data I'm giving you comes from 2, maybe 3 sources over the last 1,000 years. So I hope it's reliable.
Any information is better than none.
On the plus side, you'll be testing its veracity for me. Don't die.
I think we've used up more than 5 minutes.
You have. She abruptly vanishes. You are
Seems
left
we shall
in this.
have our reagents.
You receive a sending.
It says, went through a tunnel, call you later.
I would say I was in a dead zone, but I think you are, so I mean...
Speaking of sending, why didn't we let the other party bring a walkie-talkie with them?
I didn't think about it.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea.
Pick up next time.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One word too long. We'll get rid of this one.
That was the most important one.
Maybe. Okay. Right. I think that
Yeah.
will end on a high note since it's just about 10:30.
Oh man.
No, shooting the god.
That's what I mean.
Hey, shooting the god.
19.
I really wanted to do the thing I planned before, but it might cause a very long conversation, I guess.
Give it a moment. Oh, it's 11. Okay. Boop. There we go. You. Get in here. You over here. You fuckers. Okay. Scroll. Alright. So, you get in here, and you're going to practice with these weapons?
Yes.
Okay. So, Vendar, you fired your weapon. You found it was difficult to fire. I will say that all of these mummy corpses are still here, and you could move them if you didn't mind touching them to set them up as a practice target if you wanted to actually practice aiming.
Sure.
Okay, cool. I don't know. Oops.
Sure.
We'll just do that. Do like a little firing line there. And you guys can stand back here and try firing. Shut up, phone. Okay. So, you have access to these deep reserves of powder charges and shot and musket balls because of the bags of those supplies here. So you can just tap off that, and then after you're satisfied, you can pocket some, and I've given you the weights, so I would say that you could probably pocket 5 pounds in each pocket without it, being too cumbersome, but it's not going to be... Like, you could probably put the 10 pounds in your backpack, actually. That'd be fine.
I do have several empty small pouches.
Right. But I mean, like, hanging an extra 10 pounds off your belt, may not go awesome. It's just...
I pull your pants down.
It might pull your pants down. Like, you know, and, you know, I don't know if you have a short time, but, like, he's got a sword that or an axe, rather, that he wears on his belt that's, you know, 2 pounds, I think. So, you know, you've already got some weight there in some cases. You've got the pound of coins, in some cases. But, yeah, you could probably take on a couple pounds of each in your belts on your pouches. That's fine. It's just, you know, it is possible to overload those. Not that the pouches will break, but they'll be uncomfortable. Okay, so you can go to fire. So I'll start with Vendar loads up his gun. You can aim at any of these things and try rolling your attack. You already know that it's D20 plus Dex, no proficiency modifier.
Uh, 23.
23, alright. Boom! A big cloud of smoke comes out the end of the gun, and again, the crack reverberates around the room. And you see, you know, this mummy who you've set up against the others, his head just gets torn off and goes rolling across the floor. You can see the actual musket ball, like, in the corner of the wall, like up over here. So you hit this zombie, but this is where your ball lands. You're feeling, each time you load and fire this thing, you feel a bit more acquainted with it. Raiken, you were given the instructions, so you now know. You load 2 powder charges and 2 packets of shot in this thing. And I want to ask, you know, Vendar's set up here. Where are you going to stand? Are you going to stand there? Are you going to stand over here? Are you going to stand right next to Vendar? Where do you want to be?
I'd probably be like a space away from him.
Okay. Cool. So you load in your 2 powder charges, or make sure that the ones you already loaded in are secure. and then you drop in the 2 packets of shot, which are very similar in size and shape to the powder charges. They just feel different to the touch. All of this leaves both of you, your hands, kind of a little bit black and greasy and smelling pretty foul. But other than that, it doesn't seem to have any adverse effect. You shoulder your massive, monstrous rifle, and your massive, monstrous thunder gun, the weight immense and impressive, again, you know, warranting its 13 minimum strength to wield. And you use your thumb, pull back the hammer, take aim as best you can down this metal tube, and fire. The resounding crack puts Vendar's to shame, and the area had been sandblasted by the zombies earlier. Vendar, you notice that around Raiken, as this immense crack thunders out, that sand all shifts away from him as if driven by wind. You see a circle, you know, concentric rings in the sand around him, and then a long, elongated pushing out toward the barrel end of it as though it was pushed away in a wave. First thing, I want Raiken to roll a d20 plus dex or intelligence, his choice.
The same, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
19.
A 19, alright. What you learn is that you now get to choose a square. Where would you like to be your shot to land?
I'll do M5.
Alright. You find that you are capable of placing that shot reasonably there. Only because that shot covers this entire area. Everything there, M1, M5, M6, get completely shredded and burned as they take piercing and fire damage in an area. What you learn is that what you roll, just you and not the muskets, when you roll your d20 plus dex, you're actually setting a DC for a dex save.
Okay.
So that was a DC 19 dex save.
Okay, so now, like, anything in that box would have to
roll a 19 on a dex save, yeah.
Okay.
So it really very much balances out you not having dex. Because even if you roll bad, you know, even if you roll a 10 or a 9, that's still a DC 10 or 9 dex save that they have to beat.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Raiken is,
That's awesome.
ear to ear with,
so
when he sees the shots shred.
One more thing happens, but let me give you this first so that you can write it down somewhere. I actually still need to create these items on Beyond. I just hadn't had a chance to do it yet because I've been not thinking about it when I should have been. So for Vendar, the musket, it deals 1d12 plus dex or int modifier piercing damage, plus an additional 1d8 fire damage.
One d12 piercing.
Right, and to the piercing you add your dex or int mod, which for you you're using your int, or your dex, I'm sorry, my mouth slipped. You're using your dex, so it's 1d12 plus your dex mod, piercing damage. So just, it's like when you make your sneak attack, you roll the weapon damage plus your dex mod, and then you add dice to that. So you roll your weapon damage is 1d12, that's piercing damage, and then it gets an additional 1d8 fire damage after that. So it's a pretty powerful weapon. The limitation is that its short range is only 40 feet. And its long range is limited at 100 feet, so you cannot make shots longer than 100 feet. And you're at disadvantage after short range. Although, does Sharpshooter ignore that? I don't remember.
Sharpshooter does ignore the disadvantage.
It ignores disadvantage on long range?
Yep.
Okay, so that doesn't matter for you, but in general, it's a 40-100. And 1d12 plus dex or int mod piercing damage plus 1d8 fire is its base damage. And you learn that it takes an action to reload. So you fire, if you want to fire again, your next turn is used reloading it.
Yeah, I figured it would probably take that.
I think that's pretty fair, pretty reasonable. Now,
I'm honestly surprised it takes only one action.
For the damage?
What?
Better than a crossbow, which takes an action to...
No, crossbows don't take an action.
The arbalist does.
Yeah.
Or the arbalist requires a bonus action, rather. The arbalist requires a bonus action to reload. But there used to be, I don't know if there is, I wrote it in case there is. In 4th edition, they had a loader feat that allowed you to make reloading a crossbow an incidental, which was weird. This can't...
Crossbow expert.
Yeah, so this can't be mitigated by that. So even if you have crossbow expert, it doesn't affect the arbalist. That's its thing, is that it takes a bonus action to reload no matter what. But it does more damage than a normal crossbow.
Like a D12 or something?
It does a D12. Well, nobody's tested it, so I could tell you, but you technically don't know. Your character doesn't technically know. But yes, the arbalist does 1d12. The thunder gun. Okay, so the final thing that happens as you fire, this thing goes off like a cannon. Not that your character knows what a cannon is, you know what a cannon is. Boom! This whole area, as I showed you over here, shredded by the shrapnel that is emitted. Your cloud that comes out the end, fills this area, and you're coughing on the acrid, sulfurous smoke that came out the end of this thing. But before you even get to choke on the smoke, you notice that this thing tries to blow your shoulder off. So you're going to need to make a strength saving throw. As this weapon kicks back into your shoulder so hard, it tries to fly out of your hands.
20.
A 20. Okay, you managed to get your shoulder behind this thing. You'd seen the other one fire, you kind of knew it might kick at you. You being a big dragonborn, feeling the weight of this weapon, you knew ahead of time, and you threw your shoulder into this one before firing. It hurts. It doesn't deal damage, though, because you were ready for it. But you know that if you had been less ready, it would have knocked you on your ass.
Oh, jeez. So, every time I take a shot, I have to make a strength saving throw.
Right. You have to make a strength saving throw every time you fire it.
Well, that belt will come in a little bit handier, then.
Good thing you got good strength.
So... Alright, do you have...
bonuses for that?
The bonuses. So for the thunder gun, minimum strength of 13. It's fired with dex or int. You roll 1d20 plus your dex or int mod. The result of this is the DC of the dex saving throw that targets must make. Targets include anything in the burst one. A burst one, as I've explained, is this. It starts on 1 square and it goes out 1 square all around it. So it hits 9 squares. All targets in that zone must make the DC, and it's a save for half.
Okay.
I need to write that in there, because it doesn't say that. Comma, save for half. It might be a save for all. That one I'll have to think about. It's either going to be a save for half or a save for all, but it's it's simultaneously, so like usually with a cantrip, it's safe for all. This is kind of like a cantrip, but it's also kind of not. So let me think about it.
Okay.
All right, let me roll it in some combats and see how I feel about it. You also learn as you're like, whoa, that was awesome. I'm gonna do it again. It takes you 2 actions to reload this thing.
Yeah, I was already kind of figuring. I was like, this is like going to be an opening shot to try to hit as many maybe as I can while they're grouped up, and figure nobody's else is gonna be able to lift it other than maybe you, Kikase.
We know you're a one-shot wonder.
We only need 1 shot.
Only problem with using it at the start of combat is it's going to take you an action to get your shield up. Because I assume you can't shoot this and be wielding a shield at the same time.
The shield will be because it takes an action, so have to be another action. So,
I mean, you can fire it. Then on your next turn, you can set it down. Because that's your incidental. And then on your next action, rather than reloading it, you can put your shield on, draw your sword, and then rush into combat. It would basically do things almost just like the combat you just had, only you might get to do damage on your first turn.
Mm-hmm.
It would work.
There could be a significant amount of damage in an area.
Right, I didn't give you the damage. Excuse me. So, you know that it takes 2 actions, because it's roughly 1 action per 2 things that need to go into the barrel. So, he's got a powder charge and a ball, 2 things, 1 action. You've got 2 powder charges and 2 shot packets. So, 1 action per 2 things that go in the barrel. So that's what you need. You know that you need 2 of each to fire each shot. When you hit, the area that you hit takes 2d12 plus your Dex or Int Mud piercing damage plus 2d8 fire damage.
Okay, hold on. 2d12 Dex or Int.
It's like a double boomstick.
2d8.
It's basically a double boomstick, but all rolled into one and horrifying.
So it's the super shotgun.
Yeah, it's a super shotgun.
So 2d12 plus Dex or Int piercing, and then 2d8 fire.
Right. Too bad about that
All right.
-1 Dex. The nice thing is you can never roll 0 damage because your minimum roll is 2, -1 is 1.
Yeah, both of them are -1 Dex and Intelligence, so
that's okay. Your minimum damage is still 2, or 3 actually, because it's 1 piercing and 2 fire minimum. And your maximum is retarded. I'm sorry, ridiculous. Your maximum is ridiculous.
Utterly ridiculous.
Utterly, because it's 23 piercing and 16 fire. To an area burst 1 within 10. That's the other thing. Within 10 squares, so 50 feet.
Okay.
That's it. That's your range. 50 feet.
Range of 50 feet. Okay, I think I have everything written down until you get it up and I can put it on.
Okay. So
I really like the things we found. I can't wait to use them and actually hit.
For those of you back at the encampment, you know, there's that long silence where you're having this conversation. During the conversation, you hear just sort of rumbling up from below you. It sounds very muffled, but you can hear just the bare little rumble of it.
Much for subtlety.
Alright, and then I think you guys are having a lesson. Leah, you wanted to do one more thing. That's going to be enough time to write in your journal, so I'll let you make one more declaration before we end tonight.
Yeah, okay. So after reading my journal, I put it into the bag of holding, and then decide to look for dagger, like not the sword.
You look for the sword? Yeah. Okay. You set your journal aside, and you go over to the bag, or you open the bag of holding on your hip. And you call for the sword. And as you do so, you kind of notice this acrid sulfurous smell a little bit, kind of coming out of the bag of holding after you've opened it. And when the sword comes up, it comes up into your hand and you pull it out, it smells distinctly sulfurous.
Oh, God.
Okay, I'm going to put the sword aside, and then I'm going to look for the source of the smell.
Okay, you look into the bag, and you can see, as you have before, all of your items kind of floating around randomly in this gravityless space, zero-gravity space. You can see your dress and your bedroll and things like that. Are those things that stayed in there, rather? I never asked.
The bedroll did, the dress did not.
Okay, so you see the bedroll, first and foremost. The interesting thing about it is you see little black spots, like dark spots on it that weren't there. It was like a cleanish beige before, maybe some grass stains. But now it's got like these black streaks that it didn't have. And as you're looking in now, investigating, that sulfurous smell is a lot stronger. You eventually, as you're looking through this swirl of items, you see a little round disc, greasy black and white packet floating by. You recognize it as one of the powder packets that Vendar was holding when he loaded his gun.
Okay, I'm going to take that one out.
Okay, it flies over to your hand. As soon as it enters your hand, you find it's supple, like sackcloth type linen sort of material, and it's shifty sand inside. The outside of it is blackened and greasy, and it leaves this oily, greasy substance on your hand, turning your hand a dark, greasy black, and smells like rotting eggs.
Okay, I'm going to... Yeah, I take it out and I angrily yell Vendar, and I storm out.
Vendar is not outside. You did hear the low rumble of distant gunfire. You kind of heard that very softly rumbling through the stones around you. But Raiken and Vendar are still gone.
Now look at Larry Mendes. Where's Vendar?
Is he downstairs?
Laramentis, you've recently finished your conversation with Nalia. The thunder has been going on for a little while. Again, it's very faint, but it's distinct.
I believe they had gone to test out the implements that they took from the armory.
Achieving little.
Did something happen?
Yes, that fucking he hid some of this stuff in my bag. Even when I told him not to. I'm going to go to the side and I'm going to open the thing and I'm going to pour it all out.
Okay, you're
Wait,
dumb.
no, do not, no. Armendus reaches, presumably not in time.
It's
to
too
stop
late.
From dumping.
She's so angry. A couple powder packets as you turn the bag upside down toward the ground and give it a good shake. A couple powder packets hit the ground, followed by a waterfall of gold coins. As quickly they begin heaping up in front of you, burying your feet. Your bedroll plops out on top.
I meant the powder packet though, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's no way to do that.
You have to take them out one at a time by calling them to your hand. If you turn the bag over, everything dumps out of it.
Yeah, but I wasn't talking about the bag. I was talking about I had already.
Oh, the one, just the one in your hand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No,
Okay,
we
I am
can go
less
with
concerned
that.
about that.
We can go with that.
Yeah, no,
That's
I.
fine. So basically, you're
wouldn't do
just
that.
throwing this powder packet at the ground.
Yeah, isn't it possible to open a powder package?
I mean, you could try to tear it.
I thought this was like one of those.
It's a really
those
thin. It's like a really thin linen kind of thing. So it's a bit tough to tear, but it catches fire really easily because it's smeared with gunpowder.
Yeah, I think they're kind of tied shut because it's you put that in.
Yeah, the way I've got mine, and it could be done anyway, but the way I've got them in my mind is that it's basically like somebody took a square or a square cloth, put a pile of powder in the middle, put another one on top, sewed it around it in a circle, and then cut it so that it was just a circle stitched around the edge.
That's how I always was thinking of it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of it like one of those old school like sort of looks like a drinking skin, but
right. Yeah, I know what you mean. A powder horn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no,
Yeah,
these use individual. This is why you don't need wadding to use it, because the powder is sewn into a linen packet that is its own wadding. So normally you would take like the musket, set it on the ground, take the powder horn, dump the powder in, push wadding down on top of it, and then drop the ball on top of that. You skip that middle step because the powder is contained inside this little packet, this pouch. That's going to ignite very easily from the spark because it's basically smeared with the sulfur.
I see. Do we have a bonfire going?
No, because we don't have wood.
I mean, do you still have cutie? Do you still have any fire? Did you lose all of your fire spells?
Yeah, except the Hellish Rebuke.
I
mean, you might be able to light with just prestidigitation. That can light a torch.
That's true. Prestidigitation can light a torch. Devil's tea bags.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure prestidigitation can also start a campfire. Actually.
Yeah. That's more fire than you need to ignite one of these pouches.
Yeah, I'm going to angrily light a campfire out of it. Right, all of them. I'm going to put everything that is that I find in
make
bag.
a pile of gunpowder.
Wait, are you? Yeah, no. I need to know exactly how you. I need to know exactly how you do this. Everyone else, shut up.
I'm going to take. I'm going to toss out, like, I'm going to...
You're just going to keep pulling them one at a time out of the bag by calling them to your hand.
Now when I know what it is, I can call for them.
Yeah, you can. This is true. Yeah. And then you're just going to toss them in a pile, like, I don't know, let me bring the room up. You're over here, you came out of the wagon, you're over here. Like, right, I don't know, maybe here?
Yeah. Yeah,
I can't see yet for some reason. If it's anywhere near me, I want to move.
It's like 5 feet away from you.
Yeah, I want to move.
Are you gonna say anything to me? Cause I'm there talking.
Yeah,
to you,
I'm rational, so I assume I'm not going to walk much further away than that.
So is this what I've drawn? Can you see what I've drawn? And is it okay? Is it what you want?
Yeah,
I kill them all. You're gonna throw 100 pounds of gunpowder on the ground and light it?
It's not 100 pounds. It's 15. But yeah.
Oh goodness! I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna go see where they're at, and I'm going. I'm out.
Make an int check.
Alright, 15 divided by 0.25. That is 60 powder packets.
Okay, so the question is, do we have any previous knowledge of that this, like, us as people know what it does, but as characters, from what we've experienced, like, should we roll to see how it will respond?
I mean, it's going to take her about 2 minutes to get all of the powder packets out. Double fisting them. There's a bunch in there.
Because I don't know if
said that she's going to blow them up, or just that she's...
She's honestly just fuming. She's just fuming about Vendar and, like, muttering to herself about what an asshole he is. She isn't saying anything about what she plans to do. You just see her pulling powder packets out and throwing them.
Then my character isn't gonna probably look at her questioningly, but I guess I'm gonna sit there because
I would ask, what are you doing? Or more accurately, what are you planning to do? Because I know what she is doing.
I'm not going to respond to you. I'm just going to continue what I'm doing.
Leah,
Clearly she attuned a cursed item.
What are you going to do with that?
Well, whatever you do, be very careful. That rock gnome stuff is dangerous. Very, very dangerous.
Blow your hair back, man.
You know that loud noise you were scared of earlier? Lighting that on fire or getting a spark near it is what caused that earlier.
So I mean, this is about as much reasoning as you can do before she's basically got the bag emptied of all the
If she's not listening, I am running.
Hey, where are you running to?
Had she said that she was blowing it up? Because I don't remember her saying anything about that.
No, she
hasn't.
There's only two things to do. Leave it alone or blow it up. And I'm not taking the chance. Because she doesn't seem like the type that's just going to dump it out on the ground and leave it there.
She could be.
Yeah, she could
I don't think she is, though. So I will be leaving the room.
Wait, that's not you. That's you. I grabbed Jebel. I'm sorry.
Cyrus, where are you going?
Someplace different. I'm not sure what this is going to do, and I don't want to be here when it happens.
I think I see. Did I see them load it? Yeah, I think I see that when they blew up the spear. Because I tested the bow.
I mean, he put a powder packet in the gun with the spear, pulled the trigger, and there was a crack, you know, about as loud, not quite as loud as the musket when it went off, and there was just funfetti, spear confetti after that.
Actually, seeing as I read the instructions, did it actually...
So I see Cyrus Lee run away.
The instructions don't talk about what happens if you try and ignite the powder not inside a barrel.
It didn't need to.
No, who would do that? Seriously, who would do that?
Gee, that's brilliant. Rock domes have, like, no safety, no warning labels.
These are the prototypes!
Prototypes don't have warning labels. People have to be stupid first.
I still cry for the Rock Gnome OSHA compliance officers.
Alright, so Cyrus ran away. What are the rest of you guys doing?
That makes me kind of worried.
At this point, you've got a pile of 60 packets on the ground, and when you try to summon another one, nothing happens.
I hope we still have...
Oh yeah, no, the weight is 15, but
yeah, the weight is 15, but I can do the math, and that comes out to 60 packets.
Yeah.
So now that you've got a pile on the ground in the red square, what are you doing? As these people are like, what's going on? Maybe we should stop and think about this. Leah? Leah?
If I had hold person, I'd use that, but I don't.
Okay, do I know what these things do?
I mean, you've seen that they fire a gun.
Okay, what would I roll to see if I can figure out what he is going to do?
Insight, I guess, yeah. Trying to determine someone else's intent.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna roll that as well.
Yep, what would I roll combating that?
Deception.
Does Insight have a passive?
You do have a passive. You do have a passive insight.
Okay, that means I get a 14.
My passive
What's its passive?
Huh?
What's its passive?
Passive is it's 10 plus your wisdom, plus if you have, if you're trained in insight, then you get your proficiency bonus. It's 10.
Yeah,
it's 10 plus your insight.
Passive insight is passive.
Will this deception still count as a charisma even when I'm not doing anything with words?
Well, yeah, because charisma is not just how you talk; it's how you carry yourself.
Okay. In that case, 16.
Okay. Yeah, no, you guys know that she's angry. You know that she never wanted these things in the bag, and she is throwing them out. Beyond that, you don't know what she is going to might or might not do.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm staying here. Just
Okay.
Kind of watching her.
Okay. So
Laramentis has been trying to like
stop
calm
her.
down.
Her. Are you doing it from?
Like,
Are you doing it from the 5 feet away, or are you gonna approach, or are you gonna back up?
I suppose I will approach.
Okay, you approach. Cool.
Oh no.
Leah, you get the last one out. You're certain it's the last one because no more come to you when you try to summon them out of the bag. Then what?
Yeah.
Yeah, prestidigitation. Yeah.
I'm gonna. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find an alternative, but
I think you have to be within 5 feet to prestidigitation it.
It's 10 feet.
It's all good.
So do I get my reaction as soon as I see her begin to cast a spell?
Oh yeah.
Or walk backwards.
So my
I
reaction
mean,
is
you
to
are
cast
focused
counterspell.
on her. You don't know what she's going to do.
Yeah.
There's no reason that if she starts casting something that you wouldn't be able to react to it.
Yeah, so I cast counterspell.
Okay. Because counterspell works on cantrips too. Then.
I mean, I would think so.
I would think so too, but I've not.
You attempt to interrupt a creature in the process of casting a spell. If the creature is casting a spell of 3rd level or lower,
So
the
that
spell
includes
fails, it
cantrips.
has no effect.
Right.
Yeah, but the cantrip is a spell, so
Sure.
prestidigitation does not work, and I will say, what are you trying to do, Leah?
So, yeah, you mutter your incantation and throw out your hand, and you literally, as the glow in your hand becomes a spark, it fizzles.
Oh wait, I gain points to my arcane ward.
Ass.
What did he do?
I stopped you from casting a spell. What were you casting and why?
It was just This is start kicking sand over it.
Okay.
Okay.
There
I'm
is-
not going to prevent that.
There is still sand on the ground from earlier. It's all that yellow area. You begin getting sand on the powder charges.
I'm gonna going to run into the cart and immediately come out with the sword.
She's got a sword in her hand now. You recognize it. It's Chigai Pai.
And what do you intend to do with that?
I'm gonna rush towards the packs.
Unfortunately, you don't get any kind of opportunity because she never leaves a threatened square.
Yeah.
Are you going to attack them with the sword?
Yeah, I'm gonna try at least.
Okay. Do you
not believe I'm proficient in longswords?
If you're not proficient in longswords, then you roll without your proficiency bonus.
Make a
Before
strength
that
check.
happens,
Okay. Before
Oh,
that.
like
Before
boom.
that happens, Jibble.
So
Yeah.
wait, can I use a combat skill on Leah?
If we're gonna just start using combat skills, I'm gonna start rolling initiative.
Oh,
yeah, before any of that happens.
well, see, because
If I recognize this as something that could go horribly wrong, I am going to...
at this point I'm getting up,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to cast...
and
Can I?
Let Thomas finish, please.
Yeah, I'm going to cast Create Water,
Okay.
and it's going to fall on... It's 10 gallons of water, and it's going to fall... Just see what the actual area is. It is 30.
You fill containers with it.
You don't have to fill
Alternatively,
containers, though.
the water falls
Oh,
as
no,
well
Oh, really?
in a 30-foot cube within range.
Okay.
A 30-foot cube.
Yeah.
It's big. Like, even if I
Out of
started...
fucking water.
Yeah, but it'll cover the ground. And 10 gallons, I don't think is... I don't know how much 10 gallons is.
I mean, 10 gallons over 30
Never
feet
heard
is
anybody-
just going to be, like... It's not going to be deep. But, like, that's a big area. That's a 30-foot cube right there. So, like... I don't know why they would call that. That's way more than 30... Like, if you were to fill a cube that size with water, that would be thousands of gallons. So, if it's 10 gallons over that area, it's a mist.
Does it have to be... Yeah, well, I'm gonna cast that to try and dampen
Okay.
the stuff.
Okay. I mean, although that, I will say that, Laramandas, you're now aware that Jebel is casting a spell. Would you like to try and counterspell him too?
Jebel hasn't been, like...
Irrational?
Yeah, Jebel isn't upset. I am not going to prevent Jebel from casting.
Okay.
There's rain in the 30-foot cube.
There's basically rain in the 30-foot cube. Everything becomes damp. You're damp, she's damp, the powder's damp. And then, Leah, what are you rolling exactly? You can roll your attack. You can roll your attack.
Yeah, is it with disadvantage or just a normal attack?
No, it's if you don't have proficiency, it's just without your proficiency bonus.
Yeah, okay.
So make a strength attack.
Yeah.
So, Tristan, you're gonna load this?
Get a 0.
Did you crit?
I crit.
So you definitely hit the powder packs with the sword. You bring this curved blade down, dropping the sheath behind you, raising it over your head. It's heavy and long and unwieldy, and you're not attuned to it, and you're not proficient with it, and it's weird. And you bring it down on this pile of powder packs, which, as you're swinging down, suddenly everything becomes moist. And the blade strikes onto the top of the pile of powder packs, and immediately there's this kind of eruption of black soot into the air, which immediately combines with the water to become sludge. And just sort of rains black droplets, like, all over this area as you cut through, maybe 10 packets as you strike the pile at this slashing weapon. The sword easily ripping through there, cutting through the linen casing and letting the powder fly out from the force of the impact. There's now a pile of wet powder charges, and just the whole area is kind of splattered with wet, muddy powder. Wet powder mud. It somehow smells worse than it did.
Yeah.
It's wet, rotten eggs.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop for a bit and just then toss this sword away.
I'm gonna go pick that back up and sheath it.
I'm just gonna put the sword in this square over here. You're like the whole front of you, like all down your armor and your purple dress, it's just little smears and droplets and little splatters of this powder mud, like on your face and your hair. Lair, you got a little bit, just like on your shoe.
Yeah.
Because again, it was mostly just this area here. After you toss the sword away, where do you go? Back in the cart.
I'm going to look in the bag to see if this. Well, no, I'm going to go back first.
Okay, you're going to the bag. Back in the cart or into the bag?
No, I go back by
Okay.
a step away from the smudge. Then
Okay.
I'm going to detach the bag from my belt, and I'm going to hand it to Laramandas.
Okay.
Can you lock this?
Do you have the required components?
What are they?
Sam is looking it up now.
It's like a ruby.
Who's Sam?
Gold dust worth 25 GP. So, do you have the dust or a file?
A file would work, yes. And would
We
be
have
obnoxious.
gold.
Yep.
It would take time away.
Leah has
If
been
you-
more concerned with preening than
If
others.
you have the file, I can have my unseen servant make the dust.
I love this unseen servant. It's the most abused servant ever.
You know all the gold you put into the bag? We'll take it out of the bag and then
File it
File
into
it
a pile of file it into a pile of powder for me. Don't lose
Good
any
thing it's
green.
not sentient.
It's a good thing. It's a really good thing it's not sentient. I imagine it would be like the unhappiest servant.
Kind of dangerous too, because if you don't tell it to stop, it'll keep going.
No,
But
you can tell it 25
Here's a
GB.
pile of gold.
File this.
Just
Shave,
25
file
gold
this down to
pieces.
dust.
Yeah, no,
Let's
that's...
see, I have a mess kit. I don't think there's a mess kit and tinderbox. Would there be anything in those that?
No, but like if you've been buying makeups and stuff for yourself, you probably had a file to keep your nails in check.
That's true. I have a stuff that just says girly stuff.
Sure,
Which
girly
includes
stuff, but I mean, like,
a-
even a disguise kit would include it too, so yeah. I'm gonna say it is well within reason that you would have a file.
Yeah.
So, you're going to cast your unseen servant ritualistically, I assume, and it's going to start filing GP?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think on that note...
The funny thing is, that won't even stop me. I have magic lockpicks.
I don't think those work on.
They do. They work on magic locks.
Yeah,
There's
but
one of them in front of the. I can just open arcane locks.
I
Yeah, but
don't...
it's
Have you...
it's not a lock.
Yeah, I don't think you've explained that to Leah, then, if she doesn't understand that. Did you take the time to explain
Explain
exactly?
it to anybody.
Huh?
No. I don't
Okay.
think I've explained that to anybody, but that is how they work.
And, I
But
mean,
also it's
Then you don't disclose that.
you're free to keep that to yourself.
but it's also not a lock. It's just. It's still a bag. It doesn't have like a lock on it.
It's the knock
It's-
spell.
it's-
It opens
it's-
arcane lock.
it's
That's what it
okay.
is.
How they
Again.
work
Hey,
is I wave them in
okay.
front of the lock. And
All right.
then
player knowledge versus character knowledge. She doesn't think
Yeah.
it'll work. That's reasonable.
it's
She
reasonable,
also
yeah.
probably isn't even thinking about your stupid lockpicks.
No.
So,
But I
boom.
find it funny.
Leave it alone. If it comes up, it comes up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we don't need to go through the mechanics until it becomes pertinent. Okay. I will have everyone take 300 experience for roleplay and combat. 300 experience.
Cool.
No!
There's always one.
How
You're an
close are you?
asshole!
How close?
67!
Then do a journal. Do one journal.
Do one goddamn
Yeah.
journal.
How much is it per journal?
Write on a page in that damn journal you
100
tore a page out of earlier.
How much is it per journal, Tristan?
Right now,
Depends
journal
on
entries are
when.
100 experience each.
How close are you?
I might need to write this weekend.
I
How
mean,
close are you?
they've been scaling. They've plateaued at 100 for a little while here, but you know they have been scaling. They started at 25 at the beginning of the campaign, and now they're up to 100 a page.
I'm 420 shy.
I mean,
I think I'm like 1,500 short.
just so that you're aware, so that full disclosure, I've been allowing people to retroactively write journals. You can write about past days and stuff.
That's why I mean I might need to spend some time writing this weekend.
So
I might too as well.
I think I
so that
mentioned
I can
it.
level up next time.
Right, I think I mentioned it a little bit in passing, but I do want to draw a bit more attention to it. This is something that, because of retroactive stuff, you've been noticing of Jebel, is that he's pretty quick to pull out a book and kind of write in it anytime there's like a breather. He just writes a few lines, whatever it is. He seems like he's almost just keeping tallies of stuff going on almost actively. Like, he's got this book out a lot. And that's because of how he wrote his journals, where he almost had an entry following or preceding, like he started every day, and then after like each thing he would say, I hope nothing happened, and then a thing would happen and he'd describe it. So I imagine he's actually pulling out his journal quite frequently throughout the day, 2, 3, 5 times a day.
I imagine every time that he gets just like every short rest. Or
Right. or anytime after something happens, or like after a meal. It was stuff like that. But because it hasn't been described before, and it's even though everybody in world has these books, we sometimes forget to mention how we're using them because we don't know how the journal entry is going to look until it's written. I'm letting you know now, based on the way he's written his journals, his character is the kind of person who's pulling out this log frequently and adding a paragraph, a few sentences at a time to it, and then putting it away.
And it also helps Tristan know how we're going to react to things.
Sure. I mean, I always encourage people to write journals. I try to be, I'm very interested in reading them. I am. Sometimes I don't have time to read them, but I love going through and reading them when I finally do sit down and do it. I need to be reminded every now and then because it's not at the forefront of my mind, but the thing is that it gives you a larger base. So your character, what you created is stats on a page, and then it's your interactions. But, there's so many people in this campaign that you don't always get to interact all the time. You don't always have a good chance to develop who the character is. And so being able to write in character, reflect on things that happen, it helps you find the character's voice, figure out who they are by figuring out how they felt about certain things. And then you can, once you know that better, you can bring that more into your character interactions in game more readily rather than trying to develop and have interactions at the same time. You've got the development half done because of the journals, and so that helps shape the interactions better. That's just one of my reasons for doing it. The other reason that I think you guys should write journals is you get experience for it, and so you can get to higher levels faster. And that's just kind of cool. Help close that gap. I know that at least 2 people have hit a level quite a bit sooner because they did journal entries, so...
Yeah, I've leveled sooner. But I wasn't the first.
No. Somehow Vendars stayed ahead of you in spite of your journaling.
It's really quite impressive. I honestly don't know how.
Just steals the XP.
I just assume that you're writing the right numbers down, and I'm not even going to question it. I just hope that you continue to write the right numbers down.
I mean, I've always been good at math, and I'm pretty damn sure I've never fucked up the numbers.
Okay. If you use the D&D Beyond, you can literally just punch in the number I tell you and hit the plus button, and it adds it in for you, so it keeps a running total. And you don't have to do any math.
I finally added most of my stuff to D&D Beyond. There's still, like, my bowstrings aren't on there, and, like, my bow
yeah, I have to create some of that.
Still don't have, and, like, my hat, so my...
The hat should exist already because I just renamed an item. Basically, I don't know. I'll figure it out. If I'm missing stuff,
how to find the hat.
if I'm missing stuff, just let me know what you're missing. Just poke me with a message, and I'll go and create it as soon as I can. And if I don't create it as soon as I can, I might have forgotten. Poke me again.
All right.
Let's save this. So, we are at this ending point. There's a pile of wet powder and powder mud there. Leah's asked for arcane luck. Lair has summoned an unseen servant and is filing. Cyrus, nothing exploded, Cyrus, so you're still in that staircase, or would you come back in once it sounds like things petered out?
I'd come back in after a few minutes to see if things have calmed down, but like I wouldn't just walk in. I would be like sticking my head in the door,
I get you.
Peeking from wherever I can.
I got you. It's all good.
Just scared mouse.
Yeah. Yukikaze grabs the sword. Jebel is glad that he put water on everything, and Raiken and Vendar are off training with their boomsticks. So there we have it.
Well, I'm gonna put the sword down somewhere because they asked me not to attune to it already. So.
Oh, where are you gonna put it?
Somewhere's put up, like.
I mean, you can put it. You can put it in the wagon.
Yeah, I guess I'll do that. Well, Leah's in there now, isn't she, or near it? I don't want to put it next to Leah because she's upset still. Or I could just...
She's gonna stay that way a long time.
Maybe you should just hold on to it.
Worry about it. Yeah, worry about it until next time.
Okay. All right.
Cool. Because it's very likely she won't have calm until Vendar and Raiken comes back, so that's going to be an interesting encounter.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great.
Could bitch at him. You son of a flippity flip! I'm gonna stab you.
I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up doing something like that.
I mean,
I'm just
she
glad
wouldn't
that
hit them if she tried.
I do not think she's going to enjoy how Vendar
what was that, Guaco?
I said she wouldn't hit even if she tried. I mean, against Vendar?
I mean,
Well,
totally could. Just use this thing called Eldritch Blast. You've shot people with that before.
Yeah, but not Vendar.
My AC is not very good.
I take offense to that.
Squishy.
The only reason he gets hit less is because he can hide first. So as long as you're sure before he gets a chance to skulk off into the shadows, you're good.
I have heavy armor, and agility is not like. It does not give you a super high armor class. It does help a little bit. I have higher armor class than I would if I had no dex, but pretty easy to hit.
You don't have any other AC bonuses? Well, you have, that's right. You
Light
have, like,
armor, and so my AC is 16.
Yeah, rogues are glass cannons.
Damage, I don't take it.
I could swear they were harder to hit in earlier editions.
No, well, maybe they were, but in this one, they can reduce the damage they take. They can avoid taking damage, but their AC is low. The only thing that generally has a lower AC is the monk.
It's
the
glass
reason I
cannons.
don't get hit is because I work very hard to prevent things from being able to hit me.
Yeah, and it's really easy in this dungeon so far because the mummies, as you've seen, tactically seem to just attack whatever's closest to them.
It's been pretty easy for me to just stay behind other people and shoot them.
This was one of the most complicated things you've seen them do when it moved around Raiken and blasted him with sand.
That was just to be a fucking prick.
It was wonderful. And then you botched your roll. It was just the perfect.
I knew it. I rolled a goddamn 3.
Yeah.
Botched the roll and then missed twice.
There was also the slimes, though. The slimes, one thing I noticed with that combat encounter that I never mentioned, because I've realized why, and therefore didn't bring it up. They tended to move in my direction. And during the combat I was starting to wonder, why do all of them come up here towards me? And by the end of it I realized, oh, they wasn't going for me, they was going for Anthony. Just trying to get to Anthony. And I was like, oh, that makes perfect sense, and therefore I didn't bother bringing it up. But I noticed that.
Daddy.
Because I was standing right next to him at the moment. I thought that, why the hell are they coming for me? I'm doing nothing to bring these towards me, so why are they coming towards me?
Because somebody pissed off a demon, that's why.
Somebody pissed off a demon. I wonder
Also,
who that
correction, they were not slimes, they were puddings.
Yeah,
which are a type of slime, but yes, they were puddings. Black puddings.
Are they? Oh, they are.
Slime
well, they're a type of...
Well, actually, it's ooze.
They're an ooze. They're a type of ooze.
Ew, I don't like that word.
Have higher tier settings with the same enemy.
Yeah. A gelatinous cube is a type of ooze. So they're all called oozes.
That's a gelatinous cube.
I mean, it's a D&D classic.
Yeah. So it's like pudding.
All right. Good job.